Welcome to the Anger Management Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. We're back. Liam.
I know.
We are back, mate. How has your summer been so far,
good,
my
mate.
friend?
Good, thanks. Are you?
I'm all right. I'm coping, just about. I had a bit of a rough night last night.
All right. Why is that?
Well, for listeners who will be listening or viewing this when it is released, it's the day after England capitulated and didn't win the European Championship. So the three of us in the studio this morning are pretty pissed off.
Yeah, pretty
to
much.
be perfectly frank. I'd like to introduce my very, very good and old friend, Rich, the Rollercoaster Sumnall.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, Rich.
How are we doing?
Rich is our resident Stoke City expert on our radio show, and me and Rich have been very close friends for
a long time.
20 years now, Rich. Almost, I think.
Getting towards that now.
Something along those lines. We bonded through sport originally, Rich. Back in the day, I used to work at a music shop, and Rich worked just round the corner. And on a Friday, Rich would finish early, and we would always meet up and talk cricket, wouldn't we, basically?
Cricket, football, anything.
We were that sad in the summer of 2005. We both went out and had Kevin Peterson haircuts, didn't we,
certainly
mate?
did.
Those of you who aren't watching on YouTube won't realise that me and Rich are actually bald as coots now.
It's just an invisible afro, really.
Yeah, I'm using that one. I've never heard that. I'm using that. Brilliant, Rich. So, Rich has come on board for the first episode of Season 2 to offer us some insight.
But if there's anyone that is watching on YouTube, do not adjust your set. We are in the brand new Anger Management Studios.
Brand spanking new. I hope you like it. I've worked really hard at this, guys. Do you like the decor? It's the red and black. It's red and black, just like the Anger Management logo. And I've put my nose to the grindstone with this one.
I know you've done a good job, mate. Done a good job.
So it's good. We've got a nice sound going. We've got some nice visuals going, and it's comfortable, lads.
Yes,
Nice
we're sat
and
in a
spacious.
comfy
Yes.
sofa. Yeah,
It's proper comfortable. We've moved up in the world, and it's nice. It feels nice.
We are back by popular demand. Because I don't know about you, Stevo, but I've had plenty of people messaging me, asking me everything like, when are you guys coming back? When is Season 2?
Well, we are the number 7 most listened to podcast in the UK, and of course, the second most listened to podcast in Uganda.
Yes.
Shout out to all our Uganda listeners.
Big up
You are the
Uganda.
guys that keep us going.
Yes, can't believe it.
So thank you for listening.
No.
Season 1 garnered some incredible response.
Yes.
We were shocked. We originally started the podcast just almost for a bit of a laugh, really.
Yeah.
Just for something to do during lockdown. And it's blossomed.
It's just developed into our baby, hasn't it?
Yeah,
To be honest,
it's
Stevo.
blossomed. We've become minor celebrities in the
know.
local area. You know, people throw garbage at us and everything now.
I'm walking through Stoke City Centre and it's like, aren't they them guys from...
Them guys talking over there, they sound familiar. Oh, they're them scumbags off that podcast. Quick, throw a burger at them.
Yeah.
Throw your chips at them.
Yeah, they slag me off because I drive a BMW with blacked out windows.
That's it.
We
Aren't
know.
they the member guys?
We know.
We will be having Luke, the member Gordon, back on at some point in Season 2. The member story did prove to be the most popular story on Season 1 of the Anger Management Podcast. Luke literally had me dying from that one. I was crying from laughter.
Yes.
People don't realise because we had to cut to a song.
Yeah.
But we were on the studio floor rolling
during the
about,
break.
cracked up. So hopefully more shenanigans. I did actually meet Luke's nan. I played a gig
Oh, God.
a few nights ago, and Luke's nan was there, Mary, and I'd had a couple of beers. So I went. She came in. She says, "Oh, hello, Steve. Oh, hello." And I went in to give her a hug, and I went, "Oh, mind me, member."
No.
And
No.
my missus went, "For fuck's sake!" honestly."
If you know, you know.
She says, "Have you just said mind my member to his nan?" I was like, "Yeah." She knows what a member is. So, yeah. Anyway, lads. Now the introductions are done, I want to get on to last night straight away. We
Doom
were
and gloom.
hoping that this would be a positive start to the first episode.
We'll get the negative shit out of the way
But
first.
it turned
though.
out being an absolute crock of shit, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
We were wank.
Oh.
Yeah, we were. Rich has summed it up there. We probably don't need to say any more.
No, just horrendous.
For me, we've spoken at this at length on the radio show. For new listeners, me, Rich, and Liam present a radio show on a Saturday morning for a local station, and we've been obviously discussing the Euros at length in recent weeks.
I think that's all there's really much to talk about.
There's been a bit of cricket, but Liam is the only Yorkshireman on the planet who doesn't understand cricket. He doesn't like cricket or understand it. So me and Rich just make him fuck off to the kitchen and make a brew for us.
It's unbelievable.
When we start talking about man sports, and Liam just goes off and we just hear the odd, do you want sugar?
Just spit in your brews as
Yeah,
well.
that's it.
No,
I
I'm
thought
joking,
it
I'm
tasted
joking.
a bit frothy, that last one. But we have discussed the Euros at length, and it's turned out that I've been entirely correct, even down to my prediction of who's won the tournament. And I first predicted that Italy would win the tournament 6 months ago on the radio. And Liam, you sort of thought it was a good bet, didn't you?
Yeah,
you didn't disagree with me. Who was your call?
Oh, mine was Belgium.
Yours was Belgium. Rich, who was
it was France for me.
France. All good bets, but I'd watched Italy a few times, and the blend of youth with experience and the fact that they actually attack, right? Something that England just don't know how to do at all.
I love how none of us went for England, though. None of us stuck with this own
I
nation.
never thought England. And England have punched above the weight. I think they've done well to get to the final, but they haven't played any team that's any good until we got to the final. And as I kept predicting when everyone was losing their mind about England are the greatest team in the history of football, and I kept saying, yeah, but we've played Lidl Athletic, Aldi United, Quick Save Rangers, the Dog and Duck.
Asda Academic.
And we've just played absolute shit. We played the worst Germany side I've ever seen in my 40 years on the planet. I'm sure my old Sunday team, the Bird and Hand, would have given that Germany side a game.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we played nobody any good. We were shit. We played shit and scraped through. Let's be honest. Sorry, Scottish listeners. I'm a quarter Scottish myself. But you guys are fucking awful, and we couldn't even beat you. Well, we couldn't, could we? Scotland were the better side against us.
Won.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Scotland should have beaten us. We were fucking shit. We played against the Czech Republic, where neither side wanted to even play because we both qualified for the next round. Yeah. So they sort of tapped it around a bit, like, oh, you have a pass now.
No, you have it.
You have a pass now. That was the worst half of football I've ever seen. We played the Ukraine, who looked like they just got off a flight from the other side of the world and were all jet lagged. I mean, they were terrible,
they were
terrible. And we played, and then everyone was going, "Yeah, we're playing a good side though now." Denmark.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
What fucking planet are you people on?
Yeah,
Denmark,
it
a
says
good
something
side.
though. It says something though, doesn't it? When Denmark are like the biggest challenge that we face, not Germany, not Czech, not Croatia, Scotland. Fucking Denmark.
That was it. That's the entire run to the final was, well, Denmark are the highest ranked side we're going to play in this tournament so far. It's like, that's not a good thing.
Yeah,
I'm about to say.
That's not good at all. And the prediction that I kept making is, as soon as England play a good side, we'll get stuffed. And we didn't get stuffed last night, but if we're honest, boys, I think we can all agree Italy should have been 2 or 3 goals up in normal time. That would have been a fair result, I think. England played well for 5 minutes at the start of the game, and then were dreadful.
Was for 85 minutes.
I mean, it looked like we were playing for penalties after 10 minutes, whilst 1-0 up.
Pretty much.
And as the country's lost its collective mind about Gareth Southgate being the greatest human being that's ever lived, I'm going to be controversial here and say he's fucking shit. And
it's just he's too negative.
He's too negative, and I'm not saying he seems to have got a good team spirit going, and he seems to have got the England camp firing on not on all cylinders, but they've come together like I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And respect to him on that note, but as regards the football on the pitch, I didn't think it could be worse than it was under Roy Hodgson, but it's fucking diabolical.
But
lads.
I don't know. But you ask any England fan, and they're like, "Oh, you always got us to a final," and I'm like, "Yeah, with the easiest run that England have ever had in a major tournament,
any side's ever had to a
And
final."
playing that dross.
And I mean, last night it's a European Championship final, and how can you be okay with not having a go? If you go down fighting and you lose 3-1 and you've had a go, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can't live with parking the bus, defending deep for 70 minutes while 1-0 up and playing for penalties. I can't. And there's a load of dickheads now come on social media giving it to the lads that missed the penalties and all that. It's bullshit. It's nothing. It's a lottery. Taking a penalty is a fucking lottery at the end of it. I know I used to take penalties for every club I played for, right? And it's a lottery. I don't blame the England players at all. I blame the manager. This is a man who's picking a back seven in a major fucking final, lads. A back seven.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it seems like people like us are in the minority. The whole country seems to think he's the greatest manager ever. And I can't for the life of me understand why. We have got the best player in Europe, the very best player in Europe, Jack Grealish. He's by far and away the best English player. By far and away. And we've got a manager who will not pick him. Won't pick. He came on after 110 minutes.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
And they expected him to come on
110 minutes. And all of a sudden, yet again, when he came on, guess what happened? We started attacking.
No.
Yeah.
Surely not.
Weird,
I
isn't
don't
it,
believe it.
This is a man who every time he's come on has set goals up, created space, and been the best player on the pitch because he is the best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
And almost every England fan in the country seems to know this, except the one that matters, which is the manager of the team.
Yeah, it was on touchline.
And how many times are we going to have to watch an England side who play these negative, boring tactics where they don't cross the halfway line, they pass it backwards, they pass it sideways? If we hadn't got any good attacking players, I would be completely behind Gareth Southgate and say, yeah, you're doing the right thing. But we've got better attacking players than any other country in Europe, and yet we don't attack. We just don't attack. And I don't feel years ago I would have been throwing stuff about and kicking off and smashing bricks up and stuff, right? But I felt... I don't know. I felt very lethargic with it all last night somehow. I didn't believe that we deserved to win. I didn't believe we deserved to win. If we'd have won that game with the football that we've played in this tournament, I don't think that would have been fair.
No.
I really don't. No. Italy deserved to win that competition. And that's where I sit. That's where I sit, lads.
Yeah, no.
Liam, what are your thoughts, mate?
It's fucking bullshit. Like, I don't. Basically, I just don't like. I'm in the same camp as you, Andy. Like, I don't blame the players. Like, at the end of the day, it comes from top. And if Gareth Southgate is the one who's like saying, right, you take first penalty, and second, and so on and so forth, it's comes from him. They're only doing what Gareth Southgate's telling them to do.
Yeah.
So it's not like.
Do you feel that they're playing? It seems to me that they're all playing in a system that they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Every one of those players plays in an attacking system when they play for the clubs. So Raheem Sterling plays in an attacking system when he plays for Manchester City.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish, the whole side's built around getting the best out of Jack Grealish, which is what should happen with England. Harry Kane, he plays in an attacking side where they feed him all the time. They feed, and he scores a load of goals. They don't play in a side that doesn't cross the halfway line and passes the ball backwards. None of them do.
Well, you look at the first line of three lines. What is it? We're not creative enough. We're not positive enough. And that's exactly the situation that the England side face at the moment.
Absolutely, Rich. I couldn't agree more. On a trying to look at a silver lining, and I mentioned this to my friend Joe last night on social media. Do we think that, and I'm hoping that this is the case, I'm sure these England players will learn from this experience. I know they will. There'll be better players for it. Do we think Gareth Southgate will learn from this experience? Do we think that he's got it in him to go, you know what, we need to attack? It's fine being sound defensively, which we were. We only let 2 goals in. But you are not going to win a tournament if you don't score any goals, if you don't attack. And do you think Gareth Southgate will also learn from this and be a better manager? And can he change to the point where his cautiousness can perhaps be tempered slightly, Rich?
I certainly hope so. You've got to assess everything that's happened over this tournament, and you've got to look back and go, well, there was this moment here and this moment there where we really should have been more positive and just tried to press forward a bit more.
Yeah.
Change the system so that we can open up a little bit more. We don't have to just defend the goal and just we'll try and nick a game 1-0 every time. And I've said this to you guys before, we've got to make sides fear us, not fear the opposite side.
Absolutely.
Which is true, yeah.
Absolutely. We've got the players to do that.
Yeah.
But it was certainly it was a lacklustre performance, and it was, I don't know, I haven't been able to get myself psyched up for the tournament somehow. I don't know why, I just haven't. Maybe it's because I'm older now, or I've felt the last few tournaments, a lot of my passion has started to disappear, and I'm not really sure why. I mean, some of the things I remember World Cup 2006. You might have been there, Rich, in my garden.
Yeah.
We got knocked out against Portugal. Was it when Rooney was sent off?
Yeah, it was the year Ronaldo wink.
Yeah, the Ronaldo wanking winker. Fucking twat.
Bastard.
But I just bought my house in the February of that year. And so it was June, and I didn't really know anyone in the street at that point. And I remember we lost on penalties, and I was that fucking pissed off. I had a few beers, and we watched it in the garden. We had the paddling pool. And every time there was a goal in any of the games, we'd all pile in the paddling pool like dickheads.
For that summer, it was absolutely glorious.
It was lovely weather, yeah.
There was a good story, really, is Andy and his mate Raz that were living there at the time. He phoned me up and said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm at work." He goes, "Do you fancy coming round?" I was like, "Well, if I can get half a day, I will." So literally, I went down to the management, got half a day off, jumped in the car, grabbed some shorts, got up to Andy's and basically just jumped in the pool.
Yeah, straight in the paddling pool, Rich was. But I remember getting knocked out, and I was so pissed off. I walked round to the front garden, try and blow off some steam, so I just wanted fill people in and stuff.
You?
So, I was only 20, 25, 26, 25, I think. And so I walked into the front garden, and I just, sometimes you just need to vent, don't you? You need to do something to get that. Yeah. So I've got a big long drive and big metal gates at the bottom, and the metal gates are kept one of them's kept open by an half-ender house brick, right? So I picked the half-ender house brick up, and I just fucking wung it full pelt right into the middle of my lawn, just to smash it. I'm finished yet, mate. I'm finished yet, mate.
That poor lawn.
So I into the middle of my lawn. What I forgot is I'd been doing a bit of tiling, and I'd left a few tiles in the lawn while I was working, just on top of the lawn, just out the way. And the half-ender house brick hit the tile in the middle of the lawn, bounced 10 foot in the air, straight over the fucking edge next door, and little did I realise me 85-year-old neighbours next door, because I live in an old people's street.
Oh, God.
They were sitting there in the garden having a little picnic on the tables and chairs, and this half-ender house brick come over the fucking edge and just wiped the fuckers out. Sandwiches and fucking hobnobs and fucking Werther's Original all over the fucking floor, mate. And I remember poor Lil, God rest her soul, she's gone now. And she stuck her head over the edge, and she was a right busybody. She was lovely, but she was a right busybody. And she says, "Oh, what on earth's going on? I've lived in this street for 65 years, and I've never seen behaviour like this in my..." And me being me, I was like, "You are fucking come over there, and I'll fucking shove that fucking brick up your arse, you fucking bastard." I completely lost me shit. Next day, I picked her some flowers. Took her some flowers round. She let me off. She's a nice lady. She let me off. But yeah.
Coincidentally enough, she died from being hit by half.
Yeah, but I don't mind half ended. 15 years
Steve-O's
later.
related.
No, nothing to do with me.
No, definitely not.
Is this your brick, young man? I don't know what you're on about, officer.
Have you seen this before?
My brick, the other half's there, holding me fucking gates open. But yeah, Lil and Brian. So shout out to Lil and Brian. They were lovely neighbours. They're both gone now, unfortunately. But yeah,
the Anger Management Podcast does not condone violence with half bricks. Please do not.
Yeah, we do not condone elder abuse of any kind on the Anger Management Podcast.
Just don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
But bringing us back to where we are, I just don't really feel that passion anymore somehow, lads, and I don't like it. I want to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be throwing house bricks at old people, but I want to have that passion. Do you know what I mean? I remember 2002 is another one for you. 2002, me and Razza, we lived in Turkey at the time, which was great for the World Cup because after England got knocked out, Turkey made the semi-finals, if you remember. So it was chaos. It was just amazing being there and being sort of, that was like our adopted country where we lived and being involved with all the Turks, and it was crazy. But when England got knocked out to Brazil, I remember Seaman getting lobbed from 50 yards, and we finished. We were watching it in a bar along the front in Marmaris. And it was about 11 o'clock in the morning because it was Japan and Korea, if you remember. But obviously there's a time difference from here to Turkey. So it was about 11 o'clock in the morning. So we'd already had about 5 or 6 pints. We lost. And I kicked over a table, right? Just pissed. I thought that was quite mild for me at the age of 21, whatever I was. And I kicked over this table, and all of a sudden, these Turkish blokes just jumped on me and kicked me out of this bar. 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow!
And but I want to have that passion again.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I want to have that passion where even when the goal went in, I was sitting in my jacuzzi last night watching it. My mates had come round, and I didn't even jump up. I didn't. Maybe that's something to do with the fact that my back's fucked. But I mean, 10 years ago, I'd have been like, water everywhere, fucking going, especially a goal in the first minute. But I don't seem to have that drive anymore. And when we lost last night, don't get me wrong, I was like, oh, fucking hell, that sucks balls. But I was like, I just went make a brew.
Yeah,
you know?
Used to it now.
I thought, you know what, I'm going to put my comfy slippers on and just drown my sorrows with a cup of tea. And there was no temper. My missus even said, "You're quite calm." I was like, "Yeah, you know, it's one of them things."
We do love a brew, don't we?
We do love a brew. Liam will tell you about our
See what I was linking into
scheme,
then.
our little scheme that we've got going, and we have had some donations over the course of season 1, and it's really, really helped. You can't quite tell, those of you watching on YouTube, but we've got new lights. We've got new microphones. We've got new stands paid for by our beautiful, much-loved listeners and viewers.
Yes.
So thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Liam, give us a bit of info where people can reach us if they would like to donate any money to the Anger Management Podcast.
You can find us on all social platforms. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter at Anger Manage Pod, which, guys, as of today, has got 920 followers.
Wow.
It's only been up
like from none.
It's only been up like 3 months or something like that, but that goes to show the amounts of traffic that we get, and obviously artists come in and want to get in touch and want to be on the podcast, and it's fantastic to see. And we have a Buys a Brew donation, which 100% of your donation goes towards supporting the Anger Management Podcast. We're not pocketing it, me and Steve-O, we're not pocketing it or anything like that.
We spend it in the
pub. Not at all, obviously.
Liam spends it on hookahs.
If I can find one. But obviously it just goes on to
and then Liam might bail me out for drugs offences. That's what we use.
You're
use
throwing
the money
bricks
for.
at people again, weren't you? So I had to get you out.
Whacking people with ice bricks.
But obviously 100% of the donation goes to us supporting the podcast. Obviously, like Andy's just touched on, we've got lights, we've got new stands, microphones, and stuff like that. So honestly, thank you very much. You can find the link down below wherever you're listening to this. You can find it on Spotify, and if you're watching our beautiful mugs on YouTube, Anger Management Studios. And why not give us a subscribe? Just got to put it out there, guys.
Give us a like, a listen,
subscribe.
a subscribe, whatever it is on your relevant platform. A big part of the anger management podcast is we frequently try to give a little bit of promotion and airtime to up and coming or even established but unsigned musicians, bands, and artists. We've had an unprecedented response to this, which, as an audio producer and musician myself, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
It really, really has. And I want to give a shout out first to all the bands and the artists that sent us music last year. We haven't managed to play everybody yet. We've had so much sent, so we're trying to go through as much as we can. And it's been an absolute pleasure. Everything that we've featured has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show how much underrated and unknown art of a high standard there actually is out there. And it's been great for me as a musician.
Yeah.
And we're gonna kick off season 2 with a band called the Silver Bars. The Silver Bars.
Good name.
Ooh,
it is. It's a good name. I do like that name. And the Silver Bar. I can read you a little bit about the Silver Bars.
Bit of blurb.
Yeah, a little bit of the blurb. What the guys sent to us. 5 lads reinventing their genre with thought-provoking lyrics and experimental production, not just another indie band. Okay, so that very quickly piqued my interest.
That's what you like to hear.
5-piece band from Barrow in Furness. Couldn't get my words out now.
Put your teeth back in.
Put my teeth back in.
Have a wear this.
So the Silver Bars have taken it upon themselves to evolve the mundane indie scene into something new, whilst promising to deliver more than another love song. I think that is an excellent premise, personally.
A lot of time and thought's gone into that, hasn't it?
The song is called Big Part. We're going to check it out now. We're going to have a listen, and we hope you like it. This is the first song featured on season 2 of the Anger Management Podcast. Let's check it out, guys. Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast. That was Big Part by Silver Bars. I absolutely loved that.
Great
Great
start.
tune.
Great start.
It was a great start. It felt like the choral to me. I don't know if you guys remember the choral.
Strokes vibes and things in there.
Definitely.
I thought it had that like Vampire Weekend sort of esque to it.
It had a nice pick me up as well.
Yeah.
It felt nice after the sorrow of the last segment. It felt like life was suddenly worth living again. Listening to that. So again, that was the Silver Bars, guys. They're available on all the usual platforms. They have Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram. You can download their songs and stream their songs on all the usual platforms. And that was fantastic.
Yes.
Like Liam says, an absolutely belting start.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So we're back, and our special guest on episode 1 of season 2 is the mighty Rich the Rollercoaster Sumnall.
For context, the Rollercoaster nickname come from Steve when I joined the radio show.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, and it's stuck ever
I
since.
like coming up with nicknames, lads. But Rich, I wanted to come to you for a topic.
Right.
Rich has been having a little bit of an issue with a certain group of people recently. Rich, tell us what bee is in your fucking bonnet, mate.
So, as you both know, I've been having the garden landscaped because it needed doing and we wanted to change it up a bit. So, I'll take you back to February time and going around trying to get quotes from landscape gardeners to come in, start off with.
Yeah, and so it's not rocket science, really.
Yep.
You're just literally ringing people up saying, listen,
Yep.
I won't give you a shitload of money. Can you come round and tell me how much that
Correct.
shitload needs to be?
Pretty much.
That's exactly it. And they'll go, yep, no problem. We'll come round. So arrange a time, date. No one shows up. Constantly. And I'm talking, this is 6 or 7 people doing the same thing.
Right.
Eventually, you get one come round and he quoted for it. Well, didn't quote for it in the end. He priced it all up. Didn't hear a sausage off him.
Right.
Again, I was like, fuck's sake, this is ridiculous. Then another guy who we've gone with came round, quoted it all up, give me a price on the day. I was like, that is brilliant. That's exactly what I want. When can you do it for me? Well, we're busy. It'd be about...
Did he do this? Did he go...
Oh, yeah, he did. He did that.
You know, it straight away, I'd have just gone, mate, there's the door, get yourself through it, fuck off.
Yeah.
You've just done the teeth suck. No, I don't want you. Don't want you anymore. Like when you take your car be fixed and you get that. It's like, mate, I just need a new windscreen.
Yeah.
That's all.
Just need a new tyre.
Yeah, I
that's
just want a tyre put.
Oh, it's going to set you back 200 quid, that.
Tell you what, mate, they don't make them tyres anymore. What are you talking about? It's a brand new fucking Ford Fiesta. There's 28 gazillion of them on the road.
Didn't realise Michelin went out
Changed
of
them
business.
last week.
Fucking twat. Anyway, go on, Rich.
So get the standard spiel. It's going to be about 3 months. Well, okay, fine. Okay, we'll deal with it. Blah, blah, blah. We said to him, if you can do it sooner, the money's ready to go, blah, 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 we can fit you in.
Yeah.
Then do that. That ended up being 3 months, as I expected. So the spiel he gave me was it would be 2 weeks turnaround.
Okay, 2 weeks from the start of the job, you mean, till they'd fucked off and left you alone.
Yeah, and I've got my garden.
Right, okay.
We are now on week 5.
Okay.
And in that time, we are probably still 2 weeks' work
Oh, my God.
away from finishing.
Are these the same guys that when I came round yours on Friday... was it Friday?
It was
I
Friday.
came round yours on Friday, and these were the guys that when I got there at 11:30, were
Correct.
sitting in the fan having a roll... sitting in the van having a roll-up.
That's
And
the
then
ones.
when I spoke to you again at 6:30 in the evening, Rich said they're still sitting in the van having a roll-up.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It basically, we'd arranged for Friday for them to start doing the next section, and that was arranged a week in advance. So, what would logic say? Well, I'll order my materials, be delivered day before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a logical person
Common
would
sense,
do.
yeah.
No, what time did the materials turn up?
Oh, mate.
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
What the
They
fuck?
turned up at 8:30 on Friday morning and did basically fuck all
Yeah.
until 2 o'clock.
Right. sat in the van and had a backer. Yeah. That's what they were doing when I got there. Yeah.
It's a good advertisement for unbelief, this, isn't it? To be honest.
So you're still 2 weeks away, whilst
easily
3 weeks behind.
Yeah. Well, I had a phone call this morning, and the guy obviously telling me
this is the gaffer, like.
I think it's his second in command.
Ah, right. Okay.
But basically, we're having imprinted concrete, which basically it looks like paving slabs at the bottom. Now, that's been well planned in for ages, and it comes back. Well, I'll go back a little bit. Is we had to have a retaining wall put in, and these landscapers said, "Well, we haven't got a brickie with us, but we got this guy." So he came, quoted it. Yeah, brilliant. He could say he could do it, fit us in quite comfortably. Just before we started the work, I got a phone call from Adam again. Steve's gone really unreliable for his work. It's taking for a couple of days' work. It's taking him 4 weeks. So
this is him telling you that his own work is shit.
He's gone unreliable. Like he's gone rogue.
And you're sitting there going, I couldn't give a fuck, mate.
I just want my wall building to then carry on doing the job.
He started frothing at the mouth, lads. He's gone unreliable.
Yeah. So we get this other guy in. I'm like, okay, fine, fair enough. I'm trusting you. I'm giving you thousands of pounds of my money.
Oh my God.
To do this garden. I'm trusting you to do this. It gets this other guy in. The day he's supposed to turn up, I've arranged to be at home, so I'm there if he needs anything.
Yeah.
Get a phone call at 9 o'clock. I can't come today.
Oh, fuck off.
And all it was a light drizzle, and that finished at 10 o'clock in the morning. I was like, this is a fucking
come because there's a light drizzle?
Yeah.
What was it, fucking Witch at West or
exactly.
something like that?
Sake,
so then he said, the next day he'll come. I'm like, okay, fine. So again, I arranged with work to be at home. So he was there. Nothing turned up. Gets the same spiel. He's going to come tomorrow. At 9 o'clock the next day, nothing. Phoned up the gaffer of the company, and he went, oh, I don't know. I'll give him a ring, try find out. I'll call you back. He called me back, and I kid you not, he went, yeah, so Jim has broke his ribs.
Fuck off.
6 days ago.
Right.
And he can't come for a few days because he's got to rest. So the bollocks that I got of, oh, well, it's drizzling, we can't do the wall,
bullshit.
and he can't come tomorrow because it's got the same forecast, was just a load of bollocks. So he's unreliable. So the irony is, they sacked off one brickie because he's gone rogue and unreliable.
I love that.
For another one who's more reliable, but ended up being as unreliable.
So my question to you here, Rich, is I know you're a nice guy, but there's a line, right, between being understanding and having to go, right, enough's enough, right?
Yeah.
Because if this was me, the very first time they didn't turn up, they would be fucked off. Why have you carried on letting them fucking do... Why haven't you just said, listen, mate, if you're not here in the next 20 minutes, right, 20 minutes... and you haven't finished this job in the next 7 days, you won't be getting one single fucking penny out of me. Not one, and somebody else will be doing the job. There you go, right? You got 7 days to do it. And I promise you, he'd come and... the boss, the owner of the company, would come and do it his fucking self, mate.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
You have to stand up to these cunts. Absolute fucking wankers. Fucking tradesmen, honestly. I had a guy who came round, and I wanted all my drive. You've seen my house, lads. I've got the big, long driveway, all the concrete area around the back where the old studio is. And I wanted the whole thing tarmacking, so it was dead smart. I had this guy, he came up, he spent 2 hours measuring up and blah, 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 blah. He says, right, mate, I've got everything I need, really, really good. I'll put the quote together and I'll send it across to you tomorrow. Never heard of him again.
Wow.
Never heard of him again.
So he wasted 2 hours of his time.
This was a 5 or 6 grand job, this was.
My God.
And I never heard of him again. And I sat and I was like, why would you, as a businessman, why would you spend 2.5 hours of your working day doing all that and then not even ever contact your client again or your potential client again? What the fucking hell's wrong with you?
Talk about a waste of time. Jesus Christ, that's ridiculous.
And but you've got me there, fucking unreliable tradesman. I have got a couple of guys who I use for things who are friends of mine who are actually really good. Plumber. My friend Chris, he's a plumber and he always comes. But it took me years to find these people who you use so many wank tradesmen.
Yeah.
Tradesmen who build you something, or car mechanics is another one, right? A guy who does my cars has done for about the last 5 or 6 years now. Really good. Help you out in a pinch. You know, really good guy to know. But because I refused to go and pay garage prices, like proper garage prices. Because I remember going, where was it? Fucking that Formula One garage down on down near Limekiln Bank in Stoke-on-Trent. This is in our local city, and I wanted an alternator for I can't remember what car it was. It was something bog standard, like a fucking Vauxhall Vectra or something just what there's 1,000,001 of, right?
Not a Lambo.
An alternator, right? And he wanted 480 quid for the alternator and 460 quid to fit it.
Fuck off.
Almost £1,000 to put an alternator on a shit Vauxhall Vectra. And I remember standing there, this is 15 years ago, and I stood there and I laughed. I went, no, seriously, man, what's it going to cost? And he was like, I've just told you. Said you to £1,000 to put me an alternator on a shit car.
That's ridiculous.
And he was like, yeah, well, that's just what it costs. I went, no, it's not. No, it's not at all.
Is it fuck?
I said, do you think I was fucking born yet? I said, I might not be a mechanic, but I'm not a fucking moron, mate. You know what I mean? And I'd had a couple, so I used to take my cars to a couple of other guys who sort of did foreigners and that kind of stuff, but the unreliability was fucking full bore. Yeah, mate, fix you that for a tenner. Fix you that for 30 quid plus me labour. 4 days later, all of a sudden it's cost you 380 quid because they put a part on and the fucking problem's still there. Oh. And you go, yeah, you haven't fit. Yeah, well, I'm going to have to put this part on now. And it's like, but you told me it was that. That's not my fault, mate. You've diagnosed the problem. I've paid you for the part, and now you're saying it's not actually that part. So, no, that's not how it fucking works, mate, at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And luckily, I've got a guy now who's really good and always helps me out of a pinch. But unreliable tradesman, Rich, I couldn't agree with you more on that one, mate. It ties in a little bit to the old, what's it from last season, doesn't it? The jobs conversation that we had.
Lazy jobs, that was it.
Lazy jobs.
That's my favourite, Alfred's. If you go to have a bulb fitted in your car, the bulb costs £12 and they want £10 to fit it. And all they do is lift the bonnet, take it out the front, take the old one out, put the new one in, put it back together. Yeah, that'll be £10, please. Yeah, all right.
That's ridiculous.
Fucking put your striped jumper on and a balaclava and I'll get you. You know what I mean?
We're gonna move on, and this is a topic that Liam mentioned something about the other day.
Or if it's the one I think
can't remember exactly what it was. It was a voice message that he'd sent to us, having a bit of a rant, and I've just made one note with a question mark, one word, and it simply says Primark.
Oh, fucking Primark.
That's all it says.
My God.
Liam was having an absolute rant about this. I was driving along listening to it, cracking me up. So, Liam, what is wrong with Primark? I'm actually going to start here before you start really getting into it.
Oh,
Primark is the best and worst of all of the world, I think, all in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You go to Primark, and you can literally get like 10 T-shirts for 15 quid, right?
Pretty much.
And they're always pretty cool. They like have pretty good slogans on or where I'm like, yeah, I'll have some of that. Problem is, get home, wear them, put them in the wash, and then they only fit 7-year-olds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? Every single time. They should come with a label saying one wear.
Yeah, that'll be £12, please.
One wear only. So you actually think you're saving a shitload of money, right? But you're not, because you can only even like you buy a pair of socks from there, and they come out like babies' booties. It's fucking ridiculous. Every T-shirt I've ever bought from Primark, which because I'm a lazy shopper, because I fucking hate it. That's the kind of place I go. and they always shrink, and I can never wear them again. So I end up saving no money whatsoever.
The tradesmen that used to be tradesmen that run the t-shirts and stuff like
Must
that.
be.
So what actually is your issue with Primark? Liam?
Strap yourself in, boys. Here we go. Here we fucking
Make yourself
go.
comfy.
I know. That's just go and get yourself a brew. Basically, women and Primark, right? As us,
that's controversial for our female listeners.
Right, okay.
Anybody that does want to send some hate mail in, Liam will shortly give you the address.
Yes, I'll give you the blurb.
Just make sure you address it to Liam and not Steve-O or Rich.
Yeah. So obviously, like us as men, we'd go into a shop, see a t-shirt we want, pick it up, think, yeah, looks all right, go and pay for it,
and buy it.
Right, buy it. Simple as that. Women, or like particularly my missus, has to explore every square inch of Primark.
Yeah, and there's a lot of square feet in that place.
And she's not one of these that just like.
Is she one of them that ends up looking at like stuff that obviously she would like men's ties and toddler clothes stuff like that? And you're like, what you doing? Why are you looking at a men's waistcoat? Yeah. You're not Gareth fucking Southgate.
No, but still, my missus in particular will see something, walk over to it, pick it up, study it, think about it,
put it back on the rack.
Yeah, put it back on the rack, walk further down, then think, you know what, it's quite nice that. So then she goes back again, picks it up, thinks about it, puts it in a bag, and she does this at least 20, 30
for
times.
Every item.
For every single item that there is. And then, I don't know if your guys' missus does this as well, but like, she'll spend 3-4 hours just doing that. Like, I'll not say it again. And then it'll come to end and it comes to pay, and she'll just go through a bag and think, oh, I don't want that. And I don't
just
want
leave
that.
them at the counter.
And just leaves them at the side before she goes into the queue. And I'm like, why are you like this?
I suppose it's giving someone on minimum wage a job to do to put all those clothes back. So maybe she's concerned about social issues, Liam. I've got one question for you.
Yes.
Just one question here. I reckon Rich will agree with me with this one. So, yeah, it's shit, that is. Everything you just said. What the fuck are you doing in Primark with your missus, mate? So what's up with you?
Well,
why haven't you got a pair of conkers? And you just go, where are you going, Duck? Oh, you're going Primark? Yeah, I'm not coming there.
Well,
in a million years, I'm going to stay here and do something I want to do.
I made the novice mistake kind of because I wanted to go in for something for me, believe it or not, in Primark. I went in for some
schoolboy error, mate.
I know. I went in for
mistake.
For some trousers and a shirt because obviously I've had a few job interviews, and I went in for stuff like that. And we'll spend 4-5 hours in the women's sections. Then it gets to the men's section. 10 minutes, done, off we go. But another thing on Primark is that I'm not quite proud to admit this, and I'm sure any man who's ever been shopping with a missus will relate to this 100%. You go shopping with your missus, right? And your missus has to go and buy some new pants. So she's in women's section, like looking at pants, stuff like that. You're stood there with bag like a twat thinking, hurry up, love, come on, I want to go home. Thinking about what you're having for tea. And lo and behold, you're that busy daydreaming, your missus has wandered off. So then anyone who doesn't know you looks at you and you're just a man.
And you look like a pervert.
You're just a man studying women's section, in the pants section, staring into space.
I mean, a lot of us look a bit pervy anyway, never mind standing in the fucking women's section with a pair of pants.
Oh, just shit like that happened, and then you see her walk off, and then I'm like, oh, I'll just scuttle towards her.
My missus... My missus isn't a shopper at all. She doesn't really care, but she does obviously have to go shopping sometimes. But within 3 months of being with her, I was banned from ever going shopping with her because I just embarrassed the shit out of her.
How did you manage it?
I'm about to say, teach me your ways.
Well, I'll tell you exactly how it is, lads. Right? I'll give you this tip for free. Right? Ooh. Okay, you can use this whenever you want. I promise you'll never need to go shopping again. Right? If you embarrass the shit out of her. All right, she won't want you to go. So something along the lines of what you just said, Liam. So I stand in the women's section and I put bras on and I put panties on, right? And I walk round in them like this, but saying it really loudly so everybody looks. Because of course you guys know me, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me, right? So I will put stupid hats on, right? Anything else, children's clothes, right? Children's t-shirts with like a picture of like, I don't know, the Teletubbies or something, and I'll go, I think I could squeeze into it, but I'll say it really loud.
Yeah.
So what happens is it basically looks like my missus has bought me out on day release, you see. So she's like, I can't believe, will you shut up, and I just get worse and worse and worse. So that's it, I'm banned. I ever have to go shopping with my missus. She doesn't want me to, ever.
This guy's everywhere now, just taking note of all this.
All our listeners and viewers, you can use that one for free. Again, if you do want to leave us a donation for that amazing piece of advice, if I've saved you from ever having to go shitty shopping with your wife or girlfriend ever again, right? Think about donating to the Anger Management Podcast.
Just buy us a brew.
Buying us a brew. Liam, where can people get in touch?
You can find us in the link tree down below, wherever you listen to this or watching this, and it's the top option you can support the podcast in any way, shape or form, from £1 to £100. I mean, we're still waiting for that check to come through from Steve Jobs, aren't we, Andy? But
yeah. He's apparently left it in his will.
Yeah.
It hasn't quite got through the solicitors yet.
Yes. But obviously any donation at all helps massively, so thank you.
Always does. We're going to have another song, fellas. We're going to play... You remember Eric and the Sioux?
Yes, the Canadian
Eric,
guy.
our Canadian friend.
Yes.
Eric has sent us another project that he has been doing, and I want to read you a little bit about this. The band is called Kadelburg, right?
Ooh.
So I'll tell you what Eric sent me. I'm excited to introduce new music from my side project, Kadelburg. It's a modern folk song about my father in his hometown of Kadelburg, Germany, which is nestled on the banks of the glorious Rhine River. It's called The Rhine,
Oh, yeah.
and it features a beautiful xylophone composition by our drummer Dino. Also features lyrics in English and German, with the German backing vocals provided by my father, Hans Brombacher.
What a name.
We're very proud of this song. I hope you like it too.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds like something totally different. We've definitely had no German lyrics on the podcast so far.
No.
I actually used to be able to speak quite good German, I did, when I was at school. I actually got an A in my German GCSE.
Can we have some now?
I can't remember any of it. I can remember tiny little bits. I almost can't remember any because I've never ever used it, and it's amazing how quickly it just disappears. When someone says something to me in German, I can often pick up roughly what it is. I can't remember how to speak it at all. But so this is Kadelburg. So we're gonna have a listen, lads. And
let's do it.
Let's have a listen. Tell us what you think. Welcome to the Anger Management Podcast. That was Kadelburg with the Rhine, or Der Rhine, as they say in Germany. I loved it. It was catchy. It was hooky. It was exactly what I've come to expect from Eric, to be perfectly honest.
Good song.
Very good song. Nice to hear the German backing vocals tucked underneath. Very folky. Very folky song. But we've had some feel-good music so far this morning. It certainly perked us up after the disappointment and downright fucking wankness of last night. Let's be honest. I don't know how else put it. Really, it was terrible.
That's it.
It was shit.
Spot on.
Absolutely shit. But again, thanks to Eric and thanks to Kadelburg for sending us that. Anybody that does want to get in touch and would like to have their music featured on the Anger Management Podcast, Liam, where can they send their product to us?
You can find us on all social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter, Anger Managed Pod. Twitter seems to be the main place that people go to get in touch with us. All you've got to do is just send us a direct message, and all we ask is song title, obviously your artist name, and just a bit of description, just a bit about it.
And please make sure you own the rights to your song.
Yes.
Because when we get copyright strikes, we simply have to remove your track, which is a bit shit.
So don't
we
be
don't
a
have
wally.
any choice.
Don't
Sorry.
be a numpty.
I wanted to discuss a topic, lads. This links us in nicely to the song that we've just had. I've travelled a lot and I've lived in other countries throughout my life. And I've met people from all over the world, of all nationalities, of all races, of all religions.
Yeah.
And I've met some great people and I've met some absolute bellends as well, right? I wanted to ask you guys who you've met from another country or another culture. Who do you think are the best people? Who do you think are the nicest race? The best people that you've met?
That's a tough one.
I've got two.
Ooh.
Two. Okay. Number one's probably quite popular. The Irish.
Yeah.
Love the Irish.
I love the Irish. I love the Irish quite simply because they just don't give a fuck. They just don't. They just sound. They like a pint and they like music. I mean, obviously, I'm generalising here. I'm sure not every Irish person likes a pint and likes music. But in the main, I've gone on holiday to Ireland a lot. I play golf with my dad. And we've spent a lot of time in Ireland. And some of the best nights out I've ever had have been in Ireland with my old man or with the people we've been playing golf with.
Yeah.
And I remember going to a place called Balmullet, right, in the Republic of Ireland on the coast, and we were playing golf, this amazing golf course. And we went out that night for a pint, me and my dad. It was like a Wednesday night or something. Well, it wasn't like New Year's Eve or anything. It was like a Wednesday night in July.
Yeah.
Right? We went out, we walked into this little pub, and it was about 7 o'clock. And there must have been 200 people in this fucking pub. It was about twice the size of this room. It was ridiculous. There was an open mic on, right? So there's people getting up, violin, fiddle, guitar,
you name it,
bongos, whatever it was, people getting up. And it was like, this is, I would have only been about 20, 24 at the time, 23, 24. And we went in. And straight away, we went to the bar and it was ordered a pint. And they were like, oh, you're English. I won't try and do the accent because it's embarrassing.
Potato.
Yeah. Liam's just insulted all the Irish listeners.
Sorry,
again, hate mail, please address to Liam and not me and Rich. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
So we went
joking,
in.
Guys.
We ordered a pint and everyone was like, oh, you're English, oh, you're on holiday. And they just take you under the wing, the Irish do. Yeah. That's it. You're one of them then. And it's like, oh, how long are you staying? Oh, we're here in this town for 2 days. We're playing golf tomorrow. What time are you teeing off? Oh, we're teeing off at 9 o'clock. Oh, that means you can stay in the pub till 4. Right? That's what they're like. We're like, 4. So anyway, we got going. We'd had a couple of pints. My dad was chatting up some girls as he did. My dad's not married. He wasn't married at the time. Though. He's not a bastard. Standard. His name's Stan. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Standard.
No way.
And I'd gone to the toilet, right, go on the toilet, and my dad, when he's had a few pints, he talks a lot of shit. Strangely, it's probably where I get it from, lads. And I come back, and again, people who are only listening won't be able to see this, but on YouTube, you might be able to see this great big scar that I've got going all the way up my arm here. I had major reconstructive surgery. And I used to have a shark's tooth on a necklace, right? So I used to tell girls when I was out that I'd been attacked by a shark when I was surfing in Australia. Right?
No, you're not going to say that used to be one of the teeth from the shark that bit you.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
It just worked. Hook, line and sinker.
Hey.
Right? It works every time.
What were they called?
What called?
Girls.
Oh, I can't remember.
Sharon.
No, probably Sharon and Karen, yeah. So anyway, but I come back from going to the toilet. My dad's talking to these girls, and my dad says, "All right, son, I've been telling the ladies about your shark attack, from when you were still in Australia." And I looked at him, and he was like, he says, I've told them how you're born and raised in Oz." And I was like, and I says,
"What the fuck?"
He just like dropping me in it, full wall dropping me in it. I was like, "What?" And he says, "Yeah, you know how you've lived with your mum over there, like all your life, and then you come over here on holiday." And I'm like, "Why are you coming out with this shit?" And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I'm now going to have to pretend I'm Australian for the rest of the fucking night.
Shit, Australia.
I had to, mate. I had to.
No.
And I was like, yeah, but the worst thing about it was, so these women tell everybody about the Aussie lad that's, because at this time I've got bleached blonde hair, a shark tooth round my neck, and a fucking scar the size of fucking Scunthorpe, right? And so, but what happens is my dad's put me up for open mic, hasn't he? Right? So I have to get up on the stage, play for half an hour, right? Playing some tunes on guitar, and on all the links, I'm having pretend I'm an Aussie.
Please tell me you sung Down Under.
No, I can't stand that song.
Down Under.
And I had to pretend I was an Australian. Anyway, there was buying beer and buying. It was mad. It was the greatest night you'll ever have. Just put everyone playing music. And I got absolutely wrote off. I did. I can't really remember what was going on. And my dad tells the story that he stumbled out the pub at 3 o'clock in the morning and he couldn't find me. So he started walking back to the digs we were staying in by the golf course, and he clocked me. And I was standing on top of a phone box, climbing through a window into a party in a flat.
Sweet.
And again, I was like, I can't remember. I was like, yeah, I remember being at this party. My dad says, yeah, you were getting in through the window. You shinned up this phone box and were getting in through the window. And I remember being at this party. I walked out of the party at 7 o'clock, walked back and teed off and played golf. It was just parrot.
Did you still have to pretend to be Australian?
No, I did after that. But yeah, it was just crazy. But it was a great experience, and I love Ireland. I love the Irish people. They're friendly. Again, generalising, I'm sure some of them are absolute bastards, but the ones I've met are fucking sound. Yeah. Honestly, Rich.
I was trying to think about this while you were sort of talking, and I come back to when I went on holiday to Jamaica in 2005. The people over there were just brilliant.
I don't think I've ever known anyone from Jamaica. I've known one guy from the West Indies who played cricket for our cricket club, and that's pretty much it, really. But they've always struck me as a very chilled out race.
Very much so.
I mean, they like a smoke, don't they, a lot of them, let's be honest.
There's a good story there, because basically over there there's a bit of trouble, as you would expect. You sort of stay on your resort. And our resort that we were staying on had this big, long brick wall down one side. And every evening when it started going dark, they'd all start sneaking up to the wall and he'd shout, yo. I'm not going to do an accent again.
Don't do the accent.
Try and beckon you over, basically. And like, do you want to buy some stuff? And we're like, okay. We'll leave this. It's night 1 of 14.
We'll settle in first.
And basically, there's this great, and if my dad listens to this, I don't think I've ever told you this, and you probably already know. But
so this is a world exclusive.
This is exclusive again on the Anger Management podcast.
So because we were there with like I think there was a group of 16 of us, and there was 4 or 5 lads my age. And basically, we ended up getting some stuff, going back up to one of the guys' rooms, and we had a bit of a smoke and a laugh. And I think it was probably about 2, 3 in the morning. I remember crawling out of my mate's room, crawling along the balcony, and it was like a big X shape this hotel was. So crawled right the way round to the lift, pressed the button for the lift, went down to my floor, crawled all the way along the balcony into my room. And then the next morning, I went down for breakfast and saw my dad, and he goes, "Bit of a heavy night last night, lads." I was like, "Yeah, we got absolutely hammered," kind of thing. And he didn't really know why. And it was that. And he'd seen us at like 2, 3 in the morning from his other side of the hotel, because he was on one of these points of this X and we were on another. And he saw us crawl all the way out and all the way down. I was like, it was ridiculous. but the people in Jamaica were just incredible.
Good people, yeah. I think, like I say, I don't know any Jamaican people. They've always struck me as a very chilled out kind of race of people. And I like that. Very similar to the Irish in that respect. Liam?
I'm quite boring because I ain't
Liam's
got...
like, I met someone from Rotherham once.
I'm from there.
Exactly.
but he liked cricket, so I went away.
Yeah, there you go. I think I spoke to someone from Leeds once upon a time.
No, I don't know what it is, but like all my holidays that I've mainly had have been in Greece. And only I ain't really got any stories like you guys have got, but to be honest, like everyone was always dead friendly, and the food in Greece, oh my god, I love Greek food and stuff like that. But
Greek salad, I had a Greek salad the other day. Love them, absolutely love them.
Yeah,
moussaka,
gyros or
gyros.
That's the one.
Gyros. That's something you get paid when you're unemployed, you fucking dick.
Sorry.
Bob me gyro through. Come on, can get some fucking backer.
What's on it? Chicken? No.
A couple bottles of White Lightning.
Oh yeah, that'll do. But just mainly people that I've always, I don't know why, but always people that I've always like, you know how you make friends on holiday when you're younger and stuff like that, and they've always been Scottish. I don't know why. But I just seem to attract Scottish people. Yeah. I don't know why.
I have met some great Scottish people, again, through golf mainly, when me and my dad have been to Scotland on holiday. And what I love about the Scots is they just don't pull any punches. All Scottish people say what they fucking think. And
Terrible when they've had a drink, though.
I really, really respect that. The problem with Scottish people is, even though they technically speak the same language as we do, like you say, give them 2 pints, and they might as well be talking in Swahili. Yeah. I haven't got a clue. The only word I can ever understand is fuck.
Yeah.
And they're fucking. And I'm like, yeah.
Him as well.
But again, I am quarter Scottish, so I can rip on the Scots. Yeah, I'm ripping on myself.
One story that I had from when I went to Magaluf in 2014, I do believe, and we were coming back from a show, me and my mates, and our hotel.
What kind of show, Liam?
It was a show.
Special show.
No, it wasn't.
Was it burlesque?
No, it wasn't that kind of show.
Men's only burlesque.
Oh shit, you found me out now.
Busted.
Wounded. No, but we were coming back, and our hotel was practically full of Scots. And we were walking along the road, and there were just Scots just throwing bottles over the fence onto the road as well, like this queue of people coming back from this show, just throwing bottles, glass bottles at us and that, and it was just like shit. We were having to like move out of the way, and they're all, you know, saying fucking not a clue, not a clue,
fucking
not a clue. And then I'll never forget, I woke up morning after, went to our balcony, looked over. And I'm not kidding, there were about 4 drawers, a wardrobe, loads of glass bottles just smashed everywhere.
Across the road?
Yeah, all and like outside the balcony as well, and just like that. And I'm just like, oh, what the fuck? But I don't know what it is. But
wow.
Just Scots.
Bit of drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
brew.
tell you now about my very favourite race of people, and this will be controversial to any of our English listeners, I'm sure.
Yorkshireman.
Nope.
No.
Definitely not. I only know one Yorkshireman. He's a right knob.
Yeah, he's a right prick.
He don't like cricket.
No, what a dickhead.
My favourite race of people, are the Germans.
Oh.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Sorry, lads. I don't apologise much on this podcast, but I will apologise because I know we're traditionally supposed to hate the Krauts, right? Every German person I've ever met has been sound as fuck, right? And I believe it's because the Germans are the closest people, personality-wise, to us, to the English, right? They're very good at taking the piss out of themselves, right? They don't let things... They don't take things too seriously when it comes to comedy and laughter and socialising. And I find them to be a really personable group of people. Again, don't know if they're all like that, but I've met quite a lot of Germans on my travels in the countries I've lived, and they're dead sound. They're really, really sound. What got me thinking about this topic was I saw a social media post, as usual. It always starts with social media these days. And it was someone had put about 10 German bombers. The football song, 10 German bombers. And of course, we sing it at the Krauts to piss them off during a football match, right? I think it's great, right?
It's good banter.
It's great because at the end of the day, the Germans know full well that none of us bombed their cities, right?
No.
We didn't bomb their cities. And, they didn't bomb our cities either, right? The fucking great-granddads might have done, but it's bullshit, right? It's history. And it was the usual divide on social media of people like me going, for fuck's sake, come on, it's a fucking song. It's not causing any harm to anyone. And then you got the fucking tarts going, oh, yeah, well, it's offensive to German people.
The Sharons.
Fucking fuck off, honestly. So anyway, it got me thinking, and I actually put this story on the post. It was on like Football Hunting Grounds or something like that. one of them. So I ended up getting like 200 odd likes on this post because I'd told the story, and a lot from German people going, "That's exactly how we feel." So when I went to Greece, actually, Liam, I went to a place called Toulon, in the southern Peloponnese, in Greece, and I've been there a couple of times as a youngster. So I decided I was going to take my girlfriend at the time. It's about 12, 13 years ago now.
This weren't when you got a job at KFC, was it?
No, that was a lot later.
If you know,
no,
you know.
I didn't get a job this time.
Go back and find out if you don't know.
My missus at the time, lovely lass called Jade from Watford, she was. Proper Watford accent. Babe.
Oh, no.
Babe.
No.
One of them.
No.
I've got stories about Jade that crack you up, lads, honestly, so funny. That's for another day.
I'm about to say.
So, Jade's passport didn't come through, right? Didn't come through in time.
Oh, God.
And I paid like fucking $3,000 for this holiday. So I rang my best mate, Gaz, because I knew he was off. He works for a digger company, right? And I rang Gaz. I says, listen, do you want a free holiday? Gaz was like, yeah, sound. So I ended up going to this romantic fucking little village in Greece with my best pal. But we ended up having an absolute mint time. We found this bar that we basically took over, and it was fucking awesome. It was sound. So anyway, we've been this bar this one night. It was called Gorilla's Bar. And Gaz always called it Gorilla Bob's for some reason. Anyway, so we'd walk back. It was about 11:30, and we're walking back to the digs along the seafront. Every now and again, there's like a little jetty out into the water, and it's a beautiful sea, and you're looking out over the sea and in the bay and the mountains and everything. Beautiful, clear night, all the stars and the moon out. We're walking along. We get about 50 yards from the hotel. We can hear this guitar going, sing-song. And I'm straight away, my ears pick up, and I'm like, I could get some guitar in here. And then we realised the words are in German, right? And they're singing songs, the words are in German. I'm picking up on a few of the words, like. We look across, and it's a group of about 20 German people, about our age, mid-20s, roughly our age. And they're all having this sing-song on the end of this pier, end of this little concrete jetty. So me and Gaz are pretty pissed up by this point. So Gaz what we decided would be funny is Gaz takes all his clothes off apart from his pants.
No.
Right?
Lowering tone.
I walk onto the jetty behind the Germans and start singing the Dambusters tune at the top of my voice, right?
Oh my God.
Right, proper giving it some. Gaz sprints up the jetty, full pelt, and Barnes Wallis is off the end of the fucking jetty, right? Bouncing bomb straight off the end to me doing the fucking Dambusters song, right? Right there in front of a load of Germans. He piles in, water fucking everywhere, right? He gets out, and the Germans thought it was the funniest thing they'd ever fucking seen, right? But of course, so we got talking to. I don't have to tell you, they all spoke perfect English like they always do, and they were saying, why were you doing the song, and why did he do the and we had to explain the whole thing was like it's from the Dambusters movie and the Bouncy Bomb, that's the song, and they thought it was fucking brilliant. They thought it was brilliant, and we sat up with them all night and watched the sunrise with them, playing guitar, singing songs, talking about wars, football, right? And they were the best people on. They were the nicest folk you've ever spoke to, and they remind me of English people very, very much how they are. The sense of humour is very similar, and I've met quite a few groups of German people over the years, and they've all been like that. They've got a little bit of an edge to them, like English people have, because at the end of the day, the Germans think they're superior, just like we do, right? It's ingrained in us for some reason, and that's why we get on, because we are so similar to the German people, and they are my favourite group. By an absolute mile. I just think they're dead cool. I think they're really, really nice people. If you want to know the most horrible person I've ever met, was a Finnish person. I've only ever met one, so I don't have any yardstick to measure this by.
He's not Finnish. He's only 28.
It was a Finnish lady in a bar. This is when I lived in Turkey, and I was in a bar with my best mate Chris, who I lived with because we lived in Turkey, and my dad had come over, and we were sitting in a bar minding our own business. I think we were talking about Formula One. And there was a woman, an older woman, she'd probably be 50, maybe. I'd have been 21 at the time.
Peak Mika Hakkinen, then.
Yeah, but absolutely, I think this is what it was. And I think something had happened. Maybe David Coulthard had won the Grand Prix that day or something like that. And we're just sitting there. We had nothing to do with this. The bar was almost empty. There was us at the bar and this woman a few seats down from us.
Yeah.
And we're chatting away. And all of a sudden, she got off a bar stool, come up, tapped me or my dad on the shoulder, and completely lost her fucking mind. Lost her mind. We didn't know who she was, never met her, never spoke to her. And she started slagging English people off like, you English, you're fucking prick. In English.
Whoa.
She obviously speaks really good English. You arrogant fucking... And we're like, whoa,
where's this come from?
What the fuck is going on here? In the end, the barman had to come round and kick her out, because she was like foaming at the mouth, and she was a Finnish woman. And we tried to say to her, like, where are you from? Why have you got a problem with English? Like, I'm from Finland. And we're like, well, that's cool. We don't care if you're from Finland. That's fine. We're not bothered. And she just wouldn't leave it, proper nasty, like going at us. So if we have any Finnish listeners, please get in touch and show us how you're not all complete lunatic, mad bastards like that woman.
Or explain to us why this random Finnish woman would just go off on one.
Was her name Sharonson?
Oh, Rich. If I had the bell, I'd ding it there. That was great. I wanted to go back a little bit towards the start of the show where we were talking about the Euros. I wanted to discuss what I label as bandwagon jumpers.
Oh, God. Hell.
By that reaction,
I think
listeners can understand that we're all on the same page here. So, I'll give you a really good example. So my little boy's mum, right, hates football more than anyone I've ever known.
Yeah.
Right, hates it. Strangely enough, in the last 4 weeks, she suddenly loved football, right?
Bit weird that, coincidentally.
Yeah, and she rang me the other day to ask me how much it is for a season ticket at Vale, right? And I said, what do you mean? Like, what you want a season? You want a season ticket at Port Vale? This is the club I support, right? Where she would never come with me, right? When we were together, he was like, "No,
And how long were you together?
I hate football. I don't know, 3 years or whatever it was. I hate football. I'm not coming football. I'm not watching football. I'm not going anywhere near football, right?" Suddenly, she loves it, right? To the point where she's asking me how much is a season ticket for a League Two club, right? And I've tried to explain to her, and I would like to explain to any listeners who have been jumping on the Euros bandwagon, that football, actual football, is nothing like watching the Euros.
No, it's nothing like international football.
You need to understand that watching a League Two football club, so a Division 4 football club, on a Tuesday evening in January in the Carabao Cup, right? When your side's getting beaten 4-0, there's no covering on the stand.
You're piss wet through.
And the sleet's hitting you sideways, and you know you've got a 7-hour journey home, right? It's so far removed from sitting in a pub watching England on the tally in the middle of summer. I don't think you people quite get that it's basically a different sport, right? It's not the same. Now, I appreciate people getting swept up in the moment.
Yeah, of course.
Right? That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's been killing me is people who know absolutely fucking nothing about football are all of a sudden football managers.
Yeah.
Right? They're football managers.
Why isn't he playing him? And why are they playing this formation? And fuck off.
They were just dirty, they were.
How many have you heard already since last night? The referee was terrible. No. The referee wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
England were terrible.
Yeah,
right? There was
much.
nothing wrong with the referee. He perhaps should have sent that bloke off for that tackle on Jack Greaves. That was it. That was the only questionable thing that he did, right? Yeah. Bandwagon jumpers. I can't deal with it, lads. When they again, particularly when they come on social media and they talk this great game, right? They talk this great, because what they're doing is they're regurgitating the shit they've read in the paper or the shit they've read on a social media site, and they've got no context for it at all. And this goes through to people who've never played football as well, Rich, right? Yeah. Because I'm a firm believer that you cannot understand football properly unless you any sport, right? I'm a massive ice hockey fan, right? Massive ice hockey fan. But I've never, ever would class myself as a knowledgeable ice hockey fan because I've never played ice hockey. I have played street hockey and roller hockey at a competitive level. So I do have the basics. Yeah, I played for quite a few years. But again, it's not the same game. And I've never played ice hockey. Yeah. So I don't class myself as... I know the rules and I know how the game works, but I don't understand the nuance of the game of ice hockey, right? I've played thousands of games of competitive football. Yeah. So have you, Rich. I know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. And again, you can have as many stats as you want. You can watch as many games as you want. If you've never played the game of football, I don't feel that your opinion holds as much weight because you don't understand the nuances of the game. You don't understand how the game really operates. Yeah. And I see this all the time, and I have to restrain myself a lot of times when I see things from commenting and going, "You never played football. You don't know what you're talking about. You never played football," and it rankles me. Yeah. Really, really rankles me, lads. Really rankles me, and I don't know where I stand on. Do we want the sport to be as popular as possible, which means bandwagon jumpers need to be involved? Right. Or would I rather the sport be not as popular, but only followed by people who know something? By proper fans. Where do you stand on that?
I understand that people jump on the bandwagon. I mean, I'm a Stoke fan.
Boo. Boo, Wendy Testerberger, boo.
So when we got promoted to Premier League in 2008, it was well known that Stoke's crowd went from an average of around about 16 to 17,000 to full.
And let's be honest, Rich, if we go back a few years before that, your average was about 7,000. Yeah.
If we were
and you
lucky.
got to the championship and
It
then
went up a little bit.
started being decent, all these fans came out the woodwork.
And then Premier League, it went full. But as soon as we dropped back down,
Yeah.
loads of them disappeared. We're still getting around.
Well, they all
about
started supporting Man
19.
City, didn't they? And
Yeah.
Liverpool and Man U and...
No, they don't support Man U anymore.
sorry.
Man U aren't any good anymore,
Oh,
remember?
right, I see.
Yeah,
It's
they
got
only
Fergie's
support
not there.
Liverpool or Man City,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see. These people do.
Whoever's got most money, basically.
And,
Sorry, Rich,
and
go on.
it's frustrating, really, because you're bringing in a generation of, like, say a kid gets born then, they've jumped on the bandwagon, and you're trying to get them to support your local club, and they might well do. But if you, as soon as then Stoke go down and jump off the bandwagon and go, well, I'm going to support Liverpool or Man City, that little kid's not going to go, I'm going to carry on supporting Stoke.
Yeah.
They're going to go, oh, all right, I'll go watch them. They're great. I'll go watch them. And it's like you're not really helping a club grow.
Yeah.
You're just there just for the good times.
But to me, supporting a team is all about those highs and lows. I'm going to sound, this is probably going to be a stupid comment what I'm about to say, but I don't think I could support a team that is just always highs. You want those highs and them lows. That's the excitement of the game.
It's like I've said to you guys on the radio. I feel that winning something when you're a supporter of a shit club means a lot more than if you're a supporter of Real Madrid. Winning League 2 as a Vale supporter means more than winning the Champions League as a Real Madrid supporter, because you are expected to win the Champions League if you're a Real Madrid supporter. If you're a Port Vale supporter or a Rotherham supporter, just staying in the league is an achievement.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you actually win something, it means a lot more. And again, it brings us right back round to it's glory hunting, isn't it? And it's bandwagon jumpers. And I honestly feel that some people would do anything if it was the current flavour of the week. Anything at all. What do I always say? If the government came out and said wearing a cat shit on your head would stop you getting COVID, then 90% of people would wear a cat shit on their head. Well, they would.
Yeah.
They would.
Jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
It's virtue signalling, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's a problem that we've got in modern society, and it's a constant battle to understand whether somebody really believes the things that they're doing and saying, or they're just doing it to fit in and be cool. Right? Face masks are the perfect example. I know we don't usually go into COVID on this show.
We've got a bit political,
but
haven't we?
face masks are the perfect example. And I saw a bloke the other day. He was riding his push bike, full, dying to be Bradley Wiggins, right? It was one of them, right?
Not one of them.
All the gear on, like no air on his body, you know what I mean? And his helmet had cost $3,000, you know? And he had the full kit on, tied his shorts with his lunchbox on show, right? Everything. And a face mask. A fake one of them blue NHS face masks. Riding along on his push bike with all that stuff and a blue face mask on. I mean, if that's not virtue signalling, I don't know what is. I mean, could you be in a healthier place than riding along in the middle of nowhere on your push bike? What are your chances?
Yeah, exactly.
What are your chances of getting anything while you're doing that?
No.
The only thing's going to hurt you is falling off your fucking bike or fucking a wasp flying in your ear or something.
Best one I've seen to do with stuff like that is a woman that's like, as she's walking with mask on and visor and all that bollocks, and she's walking with disinfectant and spraying it as she's walking. So obviously the air that she's breathing in is like, but surely that damaging you
Yeah,
more
you're probably
than...
just taking in toxins.
Yeah, exactly. But
Wow.
this is what we've come down to.
Absolutely mental. The best one that I've heard, right, is at golf, a golf course, right? So the hole that you put your ball in,
Yeah.
they're 4 inches deep, right? And to save lives, this is right back at the start of the madness, right? To save lives, they've now made the cup 2 inches deep.
What?
I'm not making that up, Liam.
So you don't
Just
have to
them
put
2
your
inch-
hand
Not
so far
making
down.
that up.
Do them
right?
2 inches make a difference?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Just asking for a
Ask
mate.
your
Wow.
missus,
I'm
mate.
asking for a mate, but
That is the truth. That is truth. That is really happening. I
Wow.
mean, can you imagine if those holes were still 4 inches deep? There'd be like dead people in the bunkers, like bodies piled up in the bunkers, wouldn't there?
You'd be raking in the sand over the dead body. Just that'll do. I'll take my shot now.
How many today? How many today, Dave? Oh, 7 this morning. Oh, there's just.
But we're still in a situation where I bought a new car, and one of the guys we were looking for a car going around the garages, and of course everyone has to wear a face mask. I won't, as you guys well know. I don't mind broadcasting it out on here. I've said no from the very beginning. I won't fucking do it. It's bullshit. Right? I'm not a COVID denier, but I'm a bullshit denier.
Yeah.
And wearing a fucking paper mask, right? If the rule was you've got to wear a hazmat suit, I'd be like, right, I get that.
Yeah,
right,
fair
okay,
enough.
that's fair enough. Wearing a paper mask is bollocks, and it's virtue signalling, right? And I ask all the people who wear masks, why didn't you wear one before COVID?
Oh.
Because you know what? There's shitload of viruses about before COVID. This isn't the first one.
No.
It's not the
Surely
first
not.
one. That's why it's called COVID-19. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, I digress. So, face masks, for me, are just virtue signalling. Again, if you want to wear a face mask,
That's
if
fine.
you think that's going to protect you, you crack on with it.
No
right?
problem.
But you need to respect my decision to go, no, that's bollocks, and I'm not doing that, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that. Don't work like that. I'm banned from Tesco. All kinds of stuff, lads. Honestly, it just, I don't know. I don't know where we draw the line with
Is it
it.
Nigel Manson that's banned from
Nigel Mansell,
Tesco?
yeah, that's the name I gave. When they asked me what my name was so that they could ban me, I was like, yeah, all right, Nigel
So
Mansell.
there's an F1 driver somewhere who's just banned from Tesco. Oops.
Oops-a-daisy. We're going to have another song, lads.
Yeah.
This was a track sent by the mighty Pete Cole.
Oh,
it's back.
Season 1 Pete.
Season 1 Pete. He sent us loads of cracking music. So we're going to have a song by a band called Flowers of Sacrifice. And the song is actually called Midnight Red. I haven't listened to this yet, lads. So I really, really don't have a clue what the song is actually like. But Pete always sends us brilliant stuff. So I'm putting my faith in Pete.
Yeah.
As always.
We had plenty of good songs last season, though, didn't we, to be honest?
Just a little bit of blurb on the Flowers of Sacrifice Facebook page. Flowers of Sacrifice hosted cool parties, lived above the chemist, played some great gigs, made some cool music, split up, remained friends, talked about reforming, didn't. Talked about reforming, did. Currently practicing material old and new.
Interesting.
That's I quite like the blurb.
I still like the first
If the
one.
song's as good as the blurb,
Yeah,
I'll take
tremendous.
that. So we're going to have a quick listen to Flowers of Sacrifice with Midnight Red. Let's get on it, boys.
Let's do it.
Listen.
I had me a vision. There wasn't any television.
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
Me, Liam Simcox.
And me, Rich Sumnall.
Ooh, that was slick. That's like we do that on the
Smooth.
radio.
Oh, I know. This isn't our first rodeo, though.
Well
Is it?
done,
Professional.
That was Flowers of Sacrifice with Midnight Red. Little bit Gary Newman for me there, guys.
Yeah. Different.
It was different. Very industrial sounding. When I heard the feedback, the guitar feedback at the beginning, I assumed it was going to be some kind of rock band, but it was very 80s, very dark sounding. But interesting, something a little bit different here on the Anger Management Podcast. So thanks for Pete for sending us that, and thanks to Flowers of Sacrifice. Those of you who would like your music featured on the Anger Management Podcast can get in touch. Liam, how?
Yes, you can find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter, Anger Managed Pod. Like I say, all you've got to do, just send us an email or a message or anything like that, your preferred choice, and just something a bit about yourself, your song choices, and anything else you want to add.
Liam informed us during the break that he was sweating like Jimmy Savile in a playground, didn't he?
For fuck's sake.
Which was nice. I had to brush past him as I walked up to the desk, so that was nice. Wear shorts next time, Liam.
About to say,
me and
I'm
Rich have come
sweating.
prepared. Yeah?
Always.
Yeah.
Sweaty git.
For anyone watching on YouTube right now, you can see these two guys have got shorts on, and then there's Muggins here who's got jeans on, like an idiot. So
Did you sweat profusely at your job interview the other day?
yeah, to be
Are
honest,
you a
yeah.
sweater?
I'm a sweater. I'm a Lee Evans sweater.
Tell our listeners how your interview went, Liam, because I know you were nervous about it.
Yeah, I was
do you
a little bit.
Do you feel it went well?
Yeah, it went all right. Obviously, like you've just said before, Andy, it's whether they either like you or not. And
That's it.
just
Most
went in.
people don't, unfortunately.
No, I
Liam.
know. I was all by myself.
For obviously listeners won't know, we have discussed this on the radio, but Liam packed his job in.
Yes,
It was
fucked
a job he hated.
Yeah,
and was causing you a lot of grief, wasn't it?
yeah,
mate?
a lot
And
of grief, a lot of stress.
we're big proponents of mental health on our radio show and on the Anger Management Podcast, and I was quite proud of Liam for taking
Cheers.
that step, and something that was causing him a lot of grief and a lot of hassle.
You might not
You've-
think it,
You've
but
got rid of that.
we
haven't you?
secretly love each other.
We do,
It
we
comes
do.
from a good place.
We do.
We don't hate each other or like that. But
So-
no, cheers for that, guys.
So he's gone for a job at a local betting company, actually, haven't you? Mate? We won't mention names as usual to
No.
protect the guilty.
Yeah, cheers.
But if you know, you know.
yeah.
Do you
pretty
think it
much.
went well, mate? Do you think it
Yeah,
went
I
well?
thought it went well. Obviously, I spent most of the time just like having a laugh, and I like the interviews where it feels like you've known each other for a long time, and it's not just you've
Not
got
just management speak
yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm a good worker and I'm always on time. Bullshit. Just
I-
be
in-
just be
into-
yourself.
I feel with interviews in the modern age. Now, I've obviously done interviews, but I've also been an interviewer for the last 15 years as I own my company.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with bullshit. I can't deal with. But the one thing that I prize over everything else as an employer is honesty.
Yeah.
And we've almost reached a situation in society where to get a job, you've got to be a practiced liar and bullshitter, right? And the one question that always used to get me when I held interviews, and I'd have, I don't know, 10 people come in for an interview, and 90% of them would do this. My question would be, why do you want this job? Simple. Why do you want this job? Well, I've always wanted to be a team player, and I want to work my way up in the industry. I've
love
always been
people.
interested. Yeah, I'm a people person. And I would go, stop you right there. Stop you right there. I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the truth,
Yeah.
right? And I would give the job to the person who went, well, you'll put 400 quid in my bank account at the end of every week, won't you,
Yeah.
mate? And I'd go, thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. You don't try and bullshit me that you won't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and drive in a van full of sweaty blokes all the way to London, graft for 15 hours without any break or any food, and then drive all the way back. Don't bullshit me.
Because you love doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't,
It's what I've
you're
always
doing
dreamed
it
of.
because I pay you at the end of the fucking week, and those people would always be the best workers. because you wouldn't get any bullshit out
No,
of them.
just be honest.
Yeah.
I've always believed in honesty is best policy, and if, like I said, they either like you or not, and I'd rather not get a job for being myself rather than be someone else and get the job.
Exactly. Liam,
Yes.
another topic you sent me.
Mhm.
It was Gary, Steve.
Oh, you know Gary and Steve, don't you?
No.
Exactly.
And this is the point. This is the point.
Exactly.
Tell listeners what
Fucking-
you were ranting about.
Oh, just like my mum is terrible for this, and my dad will be watching this. So hi, Dad. My mum will like. I remember living at home with my parents, and I'd just be like in my room, like playing PlayStation, doing my own little thing. And my mum would come
Doing
in.
his own little thing.
You know.
In your endo.
Hey.
In my room, doing my own little thing. Oh, Liam.
I know. Just let me just dig this grave that I've dug for myself.
I've got a little one about that just before you start.
It's all right.
My friend Matt, guy I went to school with, Matt, I won't say his second name, but I just
Careful.
And I remember him coming in school one morning.
Did he make a
we were
mess?
having registration, and he was like, he just didn't seem himself at all, and he was like dead confident. Actually played football for England under 16s.
Oh,
Matt
wow.
did, yeah, amazing player. Matt Bullock, you'll remember
Oh,
him
yeah.
from.
Oh, no, you've just named
said
him
his
now.
name. I'm sure Matt won't mind.
I'll not name him, but I'll name him.
I'm sure Matt won't mind. It is a funny story, but
Oh.
Matt's the best footballer I've ever played with or against. He was Stoke first team player for a couple of years. He was fucking amazing.
Does he listen to the podcast?
He might well do. He
Oh,
might
you've
well
dropped yourself
do.
in it then.
But he won't mind this story because it's funny. And Matt was. We were in registration. We were like, "What's up? What's up, man? What's up?" And he just looked dashing. He told us a story. He says, he lived in Leek, so it was quite a journey back from our school in Cheadle, like 3/4 of an hour. He says, I was dying for a piss. Like, he says, I got in. He says, there's no one in. No one in. Mum was at shopping. Dad was at work. He says, so I thrashed upstairs, went to the toilet dead quick, and then he was like, I'd been sitting next to some fit girl out the year above or whatever it was. He said, I've been sitting next to her on the bus, so I was feeling a bit randy like. He says, so went to my bedroom, got under the covers, like
Going away.
going away, having a randy tank.
With his member.
A randy tank with his member. He says, 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. He says, anyway, he says, finished. He says, went forget a tissue off the bedside table. Steaming hot cup of tea on bedside table.
Oh no.
He'd been under his covers.
No.
Yes, mate.
No.
What the
His old
fuck?
dear had come upstairs and
Put tea
Matt
down.
was under his fucking Transformers quilt.
Optimus Prime.
Fucking absolutely nailing one. And his old dear had left him a nice hot cup of tea for when he'd finished.
No.
And he says, I couldn't, I didn't come out of my room. I didn't go downstairs, didn't have any tea. I'm eating all night. He says, yeah, mate, yeah, rumbled.
Wow.
Fucking
Proper
idiot.
rumbled, mate.
What a guy. What a guy.
Where were we anyway? Before
Sorry.
I went off on that tangent.
You know, we were talking about Dave. You know Dave, don't you?
No, don't.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Don't
See, this is what
fucking know
fucking
Dave,
me.
mate.
I don't know if like your missus just or anyone that you know will start speaking to you about people that they know that you have no recollection of.
I do
have
it.
No fucking
I
idea.
do it to my missus
Exactly.
all the time,
Like, but
and she'll go, I
Who's
don't
that?
know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Oh, you know Steve, don't you?
Yeah.
Steve who lives down. Oh, what's he called?
Steve from Abbey.
Yeah. He's got, what's his note called? Nah. And they'll stand there going, like banging the leg.
Yeah.
What is it?
Banging the
it's-
leg, that's what you do,
Oh,
yeah.
what's
yeah.
it called? Nah.
What's his missus's name? You know,
what's its name?
Thingy with the blonde
You
hair.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course I do. Yeah, because I fucking don't know.
No,
but like, I don't know. Do you guys? Well,
I
obviously
do
you
that.
do it.
I do that to
Oh,
my
Andy.
missus all the time, and it drives her nuts. I'll talk about blokes who I haven't seen for 10 years, and I've known my missus for 4 years, and I'll talk about them like we had a pint with them the night before. You know what I mean? And and I'll tell a full story, and she'll go, "Who's Cyril?"
I don't know what you mean.
I'll be like, Cyril from bloody,
What you call it?
from what's it from?
See, it
And she'll
fucking
be like,
happens.
no, I've got no idea who you're on about. But I do it. I do it all
no.
the time, regularly.
Rich, do you do it, or does your missus bad for it, or?
I've probably done it myself, to be fair, but The missus does do it, but the main one is sort of my dad. He does it a lot.
Oh.
It's like he'll talk about people. I've no idea who this is. Right,
And you have to sit there and pretend you know. You just sit there nodding. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not a fucking clue. Not a Scooby.
Not a Scooby. I wanted to discuss something that had been getting on my wick a little bit over recent months. It's always got on my wick. There's a couple of people I can think of that particularly piss me off with this one, and it's show-offs. More precisely, what things people do to show off. I'm going to put one straight out there for you, right? Gold fucking teeth.
Oh.
What? I'm sorry, listeners, if any of you have got gold teeth, right? But that is the most prickish thing you can possibly... Gold fucking teeth. What's fucking wrong with you? Just, if you've got some gold, have the gold and spend it on something mint. Not a fucking tooth. The fuck's wrong with you? I mean, I'll bet, like rappers. Right, I bet Lewis Hamilton has gold teeth in the next few years. Bet you. I know he's not a rapper, but he will be.
They always have
he's desperate to be a rapper.
coming soon.
Yeah, it's like diamonds as well, isn't it? And they always have that checker to like, oh, it's real. Look, it's real. Oh, it's going off the scales. And I'm like, fuck
who
off.
fucking cares?
No one cares.
Honestly, who cares? The other one for me, big one for me, right? So I've got gold teeth, and I believe that gold teeth are basically personalised number plates for your mouth.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're the same fucking thing. Designer clothes.
Yeah.
Designer fucking clothes, lads. What the fuck is that all about? Because it's got the name of somebody on it, like a little smidgy little label. Who fuck? It's still made in the same Chinese sweatshop by the same 5-year-old working for 8p a week. I hope you fuckers all understand that. Those of you who buy designer label clothes, right? They're made in the same shitty factories where people get paid fuck all, so you can pay 200 quid for a fucking
At the
sock.
other end of the world.
It's insane, mate. Absolutely insane. I do not get clothing and I don't get it. Fashion bypassed me when I was in year 7. I mean, look at me. I've currently got a Foo Fighters crew T-shirt on that I was given for free in 2018, and a pair of shorts. I have no idea who they're made by.
Solcal.
A pair,
Sports Direct,
Sports
basically.
Direct. There you go. So they've cost me what, £2?
Something
Right,
like that.
and I must have had these 15 years. Right, I think Mike Ashley was still working at Burger King when I bought these.
And remember, on that £2, he's making at least 80%.
Yeah,
on that.
and there you go, right? So, no, designer labels, all you're doing is showing the fuck off there, guys.
Oh,
Honestly.
Tell you what gets it's like special occasions in life. So, the year, sorry. So, like Christmas. People, I'm not bothered what you've got for Christmas. Valentine's Day, all the hubbies spent 50 quid on this.
Yeah.
On a steak.
Have to
Really?
share it everywhere.
Yeah,
to
and
say,
they have to
look
share
at
it
me.
everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, and it's on Instagram, it's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, and I'm like, I just don't care. Like, why? I've got a Louis Vuitton bag. I've always wanted a Louis Vuitton bag. Worst one, cars. Just been to pick up the new beast.
New car day.
New car day, that's it.
It is my
New
new
car
car
day.
day this week as well.
You've got the best named car
Yeah,
coming now.
my new car sounds like one of the call signs that the fighter pilots have in Independence Day.
Oh, go on.
It's amazing. It's a Jeep. Let me get this right. A Jeep Renegade Night Eagle Stingray.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the
That-
best name
sounds
I'm
so
sure
cool.
that's Will Smith's call sign in Independence Day.
You know what you should do? Stick it on Facebook for Dave and Andy to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure Sharon will like it. Hey,
Fuck off, Sharon.
Sharon's back.
Fuck off, Sharon.
Sharon's back. So that it brings me on to another one, right? This is another great showing off one, right? So, you're married, Rich.
Yep.
Right? I'm married. Liam.
Soon
not
to be.
yet. Not yet. He's just trying to find out if his missus will put up with him for
She
long
suffers
enough.
with me.
She's waiting for it.
So
Her
here's
eyesight's
one
getting
for you,
better.
and I know loads of people who've done this, and I can't help myself. I always comment with, "Who the fuck took that picture?"
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
So it's proposing to your missus, right?
Yeah.
But they're always it's perfect, like perfectly framed with the sunsets. And so I want to know. So when you started setting your camera up, or you got a photographer in, right? And your missus went, Why is there a photographer here? Why are you setting that phone up on a tripod?
Let me act surprised.
Why have you bought that 400 quid camera? Right. Well, just let me set it up in this restaurant or on this beach. I'm just setting it up for no reason, right? And then just come stand here, right? Stand here. Make sure you got your best stuff on.
About to say, in your
Do all your
£200
makeup,
dress.
put all your good stuff on, right? Make
Oh.
sure you look $1 million, right? And I'm just gonna stand there. So let me get you in frame. Stand there. Yeah, that's sound, Dave. Why are you wearing your best suit? For take a picture. Oh, I just fancied throwing it on.
This
fancied
whole
throwing it on
thing.
here.
This whole thing.
Yeah, this whole fucking thing. And right, I'm going to come across. Just stand there. Yeah, now just look at the camera a little bit. Look at the camera. Oh, I just need to tie my shoelace. And there's something in my pocket. And click. Oh, I'm dead surprised. Fuck off. Honestly, you fucking virtue signalling, attention seeking social media fuckers. Honestly, how is that supposed to be an intimate moment of any fucking kind? Let me tell you how I proposed to my missus, right? This is how it should be done, right? When it's real, right? I sitting in the Summer House Cafe in Cheadle having a breakfast, right? And my missus said, I've booked us a holiday, right? She said, I've booked us a holiday to Greece. I was like, that's fantastic, that is, babe. And I said, do you want, like, I didn't know you wanted to go Greece. And she says, well, I don't mind. I know you like it there. And I was like, well, why don't we go somewhere you want to go? And she says, well, yeah, I've booked it now. I said, well, we can always cancel it and change it to someone else, something else. And she says, well, yeah, I suppose. I said, where do you want to go? And she says, well, you always talk about California and Nevada and Las Vegas and all that. I said, well, we'll do that then.
Yeah.
Let's go there instead. And she says, yeah. And I says, tell you what else we'll do. When we get Vegas, we'll just get married. And she laughed, and I went, no.
No, be
No,
serious.
we'll do it. Do you want to? And she went, are you being serious? I went, yeah. And she went, yeah, all right, that'll be mint. So we finished the breakfast. We walked across the travel agent, cancelled the fucking holiday we'd done, booked a fucking flight to Vegas, and that was it. There was no down on one knee. There was no fucking bullshit. There was no bullshit
they're the best,
whatsoever.
though, aren't they?
It was me and my missus just going, yeah, that's what we'll do. No fucking horseshit. And what I didn't do is set up a scene and get the fucking bloke who owns the cafe to take a picture of it all,
Asking
all
Pedro
going down.
to take the picture.
Absolute fucking bollocks. It's bollocks. All it is so that you can yet again garner a big fat load of fucking attention on Facebook, and then the one comment off me going, how'd you take that picture then, mate? How'd that work?
And that's it. Spoiler alert. Dave, when he's proposing to Sharon, he's probably already done it.
Yeah.
And then hired
Yeah.
a photographer for the moment.
Yeah. So
And then
it's,
she's
so
the
it's
whole
bollocks.
hands on the face.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
ridiculous. Like that, and it's like, Duck, honestly, you're not a fucking actress. You just look like a woman who's got a fucking mouth open catching flies.
And they always have the same caption. I said yes.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I said fuck off. Yeah.
I'll tell you how I proposed to my missus. Love you, babe, by the way.
Please tell me didn't
Shout
get a
out.
photographer on the deck.
Shout out, Rich. Shout out.
Shout out, Jem.
There you go. We got it in there.
Nearly.
We'd gone to London for the weekend, and we like doing a bit of exploring kind of thing, and we decided to go up the Shard. And I'd already thought I'm going to propose and what have you, and I decided to do it there. Great story, actually. Going in, you've got to go through security things, and obviously you're going one by one. I'm in front, taking everything out of the bag, including the ring.
The ring. Oh, shit.
And the guy who's doing the security sees it, looks at me. I'm like, my missus is right behind me. He's
Please don't.
He went, you behind, go over there. Sent her into another queue so he could get me through without her seeing this.
Right.
So anyway, get up to the top of the Shard. And it's really busy. So I'm like, this is really nerve-wracking. So find a quiet corner. And I get down on one knee. And Jem literally goes, what the fuck are you doing? Get up.
Good girl. Good girl.
And then she said yes. And we took a selfie. That was the easy thing to do. Nice thing
but that's
to do.
cool.
Yeah.
That's real, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. That's a real thing. It's just like
Yeah.
a little picture
That's
of the
in the
pair of
moment.
you, and it's like, guess what? We're getting married.
Yeah.
That's And I like that. That's cool. What I don't like is that fake.
Have to have the photographer there to take the photo.
Bullshit. Absolute fake bullshit. And I can't stand it. It drives me absolutely insane. I'm going to try and crack on a little bit to squeeze a few more things in. One of our regular listeners, Liam Vainesy, is coming on as a guest.
Oh, nice.
In an upcoming show in season 2. Vainesy, this is going back to a topic that we had in one of our earlier episodes in season 1, where we discussed and put to our listeners, where should your juice be kept? Right. In the fridge or in the cupboard, right?
Still
Obviously in the fridge, one.
Can I throw in another category for that?
Hang on. Yeah, of course you can.
I've got a fridge that's got a water tank in.
Yes, Rich,
so,
you have.
My juice bottle stays out, pour it into a glass, and then the cold water
dispenses in. But no. I've discussed this with you before. That's still no good because what you're doing there.
No, but it's still perfectly cold juice.
No. I'm telling. Let me tell you. Let me tell you why.
The can of worms.
That's just physics. Your physics are bullshit, right? Because so your juice is out on the side at room temperature.
I've heard all this before. Don't need to explain it to me.
So you put that much juice in your glass of warm juice, room temperature juice, and fill that much up with water.
No,
right?
because if it's a pint glass, it's plenty of cold water.
Okay, that much then, right? Okay, it's the same premise applies, Rich, right? But it doesn't matter if we filled a slurry tank, right? Okay, so you've got that much juice and you've got that much water, right? Okay, so for listeners, that's an inch of juice.
I was just about to say this is a podcast.
And 8 inches of cold water, right?
Yeah.
So if you then make another glass with juice that's been in the fridge and is already cold, right? Plus 8 inches of cold water, which glass is going to have the coldest liquid in it?
Meh.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. You don't even have to answer that one, Rich. Okay. There we go. So, Vainesy has asked, this has been bugging him, apparently. Vainesy listens to the Anger Management podcast in his works van religiously. He's one of our number one fans, so shout out Vainesy. Vainesy wants to know where you guys keep your chocolate.
Ooh.
Is this a fridge or cupboard debate?
Well, you keep it in the fucking garden if you want, I suppose, mate. But I imagine fridge or cupboard are the regular answers.
It's got to be cupboard.
Cupboard.
I'm a fridger.
Oh,
you're wrong. Sorry, lads.
Why would you want to break your teeth biting into a rock-hard
I
chocolate?
like it just having a good melt from being not frozen but being cold.
But it can melt from
the cupboard. From room temperature.
I like that process. I like that process of it melting. When it's already almost melted, you don't really get much of a experience from it. It's just melted and then you eat it.
You know what? We're going to put this to the listeners.
This
is going to be a Graham poll. This is going to be a Graham poll.
Vainesy has spoken on our poll, so that's going to be the Graham for this week then, I suppose.
We're asking, where do you keep chocolate? Simple as that. Fridge or cupboard?
Fridge or cupboard again.
Should we throw in other in case
it's
a special category?
In case anyone keeps it in the sock drawer.
Crusty sock drawer.
I wanted to start a new segment on the Anger Management podcast, and it's going to be called the Weekly Woke Watch.
Ooh, sounds good.
Okay. I can't stand wokeness. I'll be honest with you, lads. I fucking hate it. It pisses me off. I truly believe that everybody should be just chilled and just not give a fuck if somebody says something, it's just somebody saying something. It's not going to kill anybody. Honestly, stop getting offended.
Just ignore
Stop being pissed off.
Just leave
Stop trying to make the world equal all the fucking time, because the world isn't equal. We're teaching the children that everything should be equal, and it just doesn't fucking work like that. It never will work. And my point of view is what we should be doing is celebrating the differences between cultures and races and genders and individuals. We're all different, and we should celebrate that fact. We shouldn't try to make everybody equal in all things, because it's not true and it doesn't work. Let's celebrate the differences instead. That is my firm belief, and I can't deal with the woke brigade. It drives me completely insane. I feel that we've lost the ability. Was that your stomach, Liam? Wow, I thought there was a motorbike going like a Harley going past outside.
That was my stomach. Sorry, guys. I'm surprised that came through.
I'll see if I can mute that out.
To say.
Wow.
Jesus.
But the woke brigade, it kills me. It kills me all the time. We've lost the ability to take the piss out of each other, and I believe it's a fine art taking the piss. I do, and you shouldn't be offended. I've never been offended. Never been offended by anything in my life. Plenty I don't agree with, but I'm not offended. Somebody wants to say bald people are wankers. I don't agree with you, but I'm not going to be offended by it.
That's
you know
their
what I mean?
opinion, though, isn't it?
You short people are all cunts. You know, it's like, well, if you think that, mate, you're just a bit of a bell end, aren't you?
Yeah,
but, you know,
that's your opinion.
I'm really not offended by atheists. Well, I've had loads of religious folk before. Atheists, you're all scum and you're all going to hell. It's like, well, I don't think I am, right? But if you want to think that, that's fine. But what I'm not is offended on behalf of all atheists, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't give a shit.
Nope.
It's that simple. So let's stop being woke. My Woke Watch subject for this week, as you well know, Rich, and I know you are as well, we are massive Star Wars fans. I'm not sure where you sit on the Star Wars fence, Liam.
I love Star Wars.
Do you love Star Wars?
How did you not know this?
I didn't. It's
How
not
can
something
you
we've
not
ever
love
discussed.
Star
I'm about
Wars?
to say. It's been how long?
Massive Star Wars fan. Disney have recently taken the decision, along with Lego, who make the Star Wars themed sets, which I love.
They're
Build them
amazing.
with my son. They have taken the decision to rename Boba Fett. His ship has always been known since 1977 as Slave One.
Yeah.
It's my favourite ship in Star Wars, right?
It's the best.
awesome.
It's
an
mint.
awesome ship. And what we've got to remember is Boba Fett's a twat, right? He's a fucking bounty hunter, right?
Yep.
He's not. He doesn't do charity work. He's
Doesn't
not
give
Marcus
a shit
Rashford,
about anyone.
right? He's a right odd bastard, right? Don't give a fuck what happens to anybody that he captures, right? He's an horrible bloke, right? In the main, and his ship is called Slave One, right? His ship isn't called, Strawberries and Sunshine, right? Okay. Apparently, Slave One is offensive. Okay. So the name, let's get this right. The name of a fictitious ship owned by a fictitious character in a fictitious universe, right? In a film, which by its very nature is fictitious, right? Is offensive towards slaves. I mean, is Western society still keeping slaves? I'm not really sure. Anybody know any slaves? Are we still... Or hang on a minute. Slavery's been abolished, hasn't it?
I believe it has.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has, right? Okay. So I'm not sure. And again, if anybody is offended by that, how have you got access to Star Wars if you're a slave? I'm not really sure about that one.
But
or is it offensive to people who, I don't know, are one? Like 1 year old, I'm offended by that because I'm one and it's got my name. I mean, it's such bollocks. It's such complete and utter bollocks. Slave One, that's what the ship's called. They've changed it to simply Boba Fett's ship.
You think they'd have at least given it a different name, wouldn't you?
No, I think what they should do is leave it the fuck alone.
Oh, yeah.
There's nobody fucking
Why spoil
cares.
something that doesn't need spoiling?
But it's been 44 years. Why change it now?
Exactly. And I really, really don't believe... And, I'm not saying slavery wasn't a bad thing. It was an abhorrent, horrific thing.
Of course,
slavery was. Of course. I'm not trying to say that it shouldn't be remembered and it shouldn't be talked about and discussed. Of course it should. But I got to be honest, I can't think of any people that I know who would be offended by the name of a fictitious ship in a fictitious universe.
Blue-haired land whales that are like... Oh no, they can't have this and they can't have that. Like, people can't have fucking anything.
Hang on a minute. Blue-haired land
whales.
whales.
Them that identify as fucking wheelie bins. And
right.
Them sort of people,
right, Okay.
The massive woke brigade.
Did you see the guy who came out? He was a guy from London, and he's come out as... he now identifies as a woman. Again, absolutely fine. That's what she wants to do. No problem. I even tried to use the correct pronouns, and that's fine. Whatever anybody wants to be is absolutely fine with me. I couldn't care less. So he's come out and identified as a woman, but he's also come out and identified as a Korean woman, right? This is a white guy from London, right? Have you not seen this?
No.
Have you not seen it?
No.
It's amazing.
So
Look it up online.
Sorry, so let me get this straight. He's a white English man
Yes.
that now identifies as a Korean female.
Yes, he had like 25 plastic surgeries to look like a Korean female.
Wow.
I mean, the guy's obviously
What?
seriously mentally ill. But for me, I'm of the viewpoint of if that makes the lass happy,
the
right?
person.
If that makes her happy, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, if that brings you peace and makes you happy, you can do whatever you want. In my opinion, you're not causing any harm to anyone, right? I'm the right winger here. I'm the person that gets labelled a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
You want to see what the woke mob have said about this person, right? Hammering him.
Go on, give us a few samples.
So you can identify as a woman. That's fine,
Okay.
according to the woke mob. That's fine, but you can't appropriate someone else's race. That's not fine. You can't be a Korean. You can be a woman,
But you can't be a
right?
Korean.
But you can't be a Korean.
What's
I'm not
difference?
making
Yeah,
that
I
up.
was about
This
to
is
say, like,
actually
so-
happened. This has, right? So according to the woke mob and the extreme lunatics, it's absolutely fine to identify. And the guys had the girl has had death threats and all kinds of stuff levelled at him by the woke. You know, the people who preach inequality all the
they're
time.
trying to preach good.
Yeah, so somebody like me,
fuck off.
I'm labelled as a Nazi when my opinion is, do whatever you want, mate.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fine.
Does
You
it
crack
affect
on.
you? Well,
Yeah.
no, not really. So
Mate,
let them do what they want.
If it's making you happy, mate, you crack on with it. I couldn't care less. That's sound, right? But the people who are preaching peace and equality and for all, yeah, they're the ones who are giving him death threats because he's trying to appropriate another culture, right?
The same people that have...
Jesus Christ, Liam.
Sorry.
The
That
same
is a
people that
loud tum, that is, mate.
I'm tempted just to put a microphone down there.
And these are the same people that are down with society yet using £2,000-3,000 Apple laptops.
Yeah,
and things.
same people. Down
yeah.
with capitalism, she types on her iPad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what? What are you doing? Absolutely crazy. But for me, those are the two things that I've seen for this week's Woke Watch. Those are the two things that have really... They've tickled me in a way because you have to look at it now from a point of view of just laughing because it's so ludicrous and people are losing the shit about this. I mean, that poor lad, poor girl, poor lad, whatever. I can't fuck it up, whatever. Sorry. That poor person is having an absolute nightmare just for trying to make themselves happy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. Do you know what I mean? Just for try and do what they feel is going to turn their life around and make them content with who they are. And I'm a right winger, am I? Right? I'm the right winger. I'm the intolerant person, am I? I don't care what anybody wants to be.
But at the end of the day, Steve-O, it's no one else's fucking business, is
Of
it?
course it
If you want to
isn't.
identify as this or that or you know, change your gender or whatever that may be, that's your choice.
Your choice.
And I'm not going to listen to someone on social media who's got a fucking anime or a footballer as the profile picture slagging me off. Am I really going to listen to what Maradona thinks? Oh, no, it's not Maradona. It's XX Killer 7XX. Oh, yeah. I'm going to take on board what he says. And I'm going to change my life, even though I've made this tough decision to change genders or change ethnics or whatever it may be. Yeah, you do what's best for you. And I'd like to think that's same with anyone. You should just do what's best for you and not give a shit what anyone else thinks. I think that's the best way to live, to be honest. Do what's best for you.
I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And I find we're in a strange situation in society where the people who are labelled right wingers seem to be the liberal people now, whereas the people who are left or claim to be liberal are actually completely intolerant and right. It's like the roles have reversed somehow. And a lot of the time I don't really understand what's going on. And I always say, so you're liberal until somebody doesn't agree with you, then you put a balaclava on and stab people. That makes you the opposite of a liberal.
Yeah.
Because I believe that, and I don't know whether you guys agree with me here, I believe that I'm a true liberal person because I don't care what anybody wants to be.
Yeah.
You can be anything at all. As long as you're happy and you're not causing harm to anyone, I don't care what you are.
What does
You
it
could,
matter?
like you said, Lee, you can identify as a giraffe if you want.
Yeah.
I could not care less. If it makes you happy and makes your life plain sailing, that's fine. I'm not bothered at all. And yet, these people who profess to be liberals are only liberal as long as people agree with them.
Yeah.
And that's fascism. That's not being liberal. That's being fascist. It's insane. And I'm not sure how we combat that. I'm not sure where society goes from here. The division is so stark. I'm not sure where it goes. I don't know. It's a crazy time.
I think it's a fair point, though. I think it's some fair points that we've all made, to be honest. And like I say, I think at the end of the day, you do what's best for you. I don't care what anyone else thinks. If your son or daughter came to you at 21 and it's like, Dad, I'm gay, I won't love my child any less or look at them any differently or say, well, no, you shouldn't be gay or you shouldn't, you should be hetero or, something like that. It should be straight. You can't do that to people.
No.
What kind of message is that sending to people? And what kind of adult person even are you to try and get other people to believe what you believe? I don't know, guys. But I think it's some fair points, and it's the kind of world that we live in right now, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
We're going to have our final song, guys. This is a band called The Baines. The song is called Like This Forever. I haven't got the blurb up yet, so we'll get to the blurb when we come back, and we'll have a little chat about the Baines. So this is our final track for episode 1 of season 2. Let's check it out. The Baines, Like This Forever.
Almost got saved, but if you was always here,
Welcome back to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
Me, Liam Simcox.
And me, Rich Sumnall.
That was my favourite song of the evening. No disrespect to the other artists, but that was my kind of thing. That was the Baines with Like This Forever. Unfortunately, the Baines haven't sent us any blurb, so we can't really tell you much about it. I think they're an Irish band, Rich.
I believe
you
so.
found them on Instagram. So they are up there in all the usual places. And you can download Like This Forever, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all the
Usual places.
The usual places. But I absolutely love that song. That was my cup of tea. That track
Good
was.
song.
So thanks for sending that to us, guys. Like we say in every link, anybody that does want to feature their music on the Anger Management Podcast can get in touch with us, and Liam will tell you exactly how.
Yes, you can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, Anger Management Studios, or you can find us on Twitter, Anger Manage Pod. Like I said, it's very easy, guys. All you've got to do is get in touch with us wherever you want to get in touch with us. Send us a message and asking if you want to put your music on the Anger Management Podcast.
We're going to have a final topic. It's almost the end, lads. This is the last segment. We try to keep it light in our last segment. We always do. I've got a little question to ask you at the end, as we always finish up on. I pose you a question.
Ooh.
But I wanted to come. I know this is a subject that you two particularly are very keen video gamers. I know you both are. Again, I've known Rich for a long, long time. Rich has always liked gaming, and I know you even have a YouTube channel dedicated to gaming, don't you, Liam? So I wanted to discuss with you a couple of subjects. Video game prices to start with.
Extortionate. Absolutely extortionate.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
But you know what? They always have been.
Yeah.
They always have been. My first games console was a Sega Master System in 1988, maybe.
Mine was a Sega Mega Drive.
And games, this is 1988. A Sega Master System game was 35, 40 pounds in 1988. Remember that. So when we're saying now that a game's 70, 80 quid, it's not really any more expensive than it was back then. But you're right, it's extortionate. And that links us in also with the fact that most of the time you buy a game now and you don't actually have everything. You've got to pay more to get more stuff. Yeah. I'm going to let you two talk about this because it's not my area of expertise at all. I sort of play Snake on a phone.
Retired gamer now.
Yeah, pretty much a retired gamer. I try and play a little bit with my son, but even games that my son plays, I was growing up in the 80s and 90s. Games were about stories, and I'm, Rich, I'm an avid reader. I went to university and did English literature, and I've been an avid reader since I was 4 years old. And games, I always found to be an extension of a novel. Almost. You went on an adventure and it was a story. Whereas games now, open world, sandbox games, it feels empty. It feels like there's no narrative. So my son plays Roblox,
right?
Which is like a browser game, isn't it?
Yeah.
On laptop or whatever system you're playing it on. And he plays a lot of these... Fortnite is the other one.
Like Minecraft and stuff like that.
But there's no story involved.
No.
And I can't. And I try to get my son. I've got an Xbox and a PlayStation stuff, and I've got games like Halo. Me and you have played Halo before together, Rich, and games with a story and a universe behind them. I mean, I've managed to get my son into some of them, but you can always tell he's not that interested. He wants to go back and play on the sandbox games, and I don't know how you guys are with those type of games, but I don't have time to play hardly at all these days. But I can't get into those sandbox games that I just can't, like massively online multiplayer and all that. I want to play something on my own, like I'm reading a book. Yeah. I don't read a book with someone else.
Something with a story.
Yeah, and I don't read a book with some Korean kid, 8-year-old Korean kid,
screaming at you
online. I don't want
trying to survive a battle royale.
Yeah, I don't want that. I want to take my time. I want to read it at my own pace, and I want to enjoy that story. But games that you've got AAA titles now that are being made without single player capability at all.
Yeah.
And I sit there and I'm like, don't want that. You're
You
going to
don't.
end up losing a lot. But then I think, are you going to end up losing a lot of your audience because people like me don't really have time to play games anymore, whereas kids want multiplayer.
Yeah.
So
play
where
with
do
the
you
friends and
guys
stuff.
stand on that? I'll come to you first, Liam.
Well, I think like you've just touched on, it's a bit of a. It depends what camp you're in. Like you either like single player story driven games or you like multiplayer online games, and I'm more a single player story driven games. I'm not a big fan of online gaming. I'm not against it. Like, don't get me wrong. If your mates got in touch with me today and were like, "Oh, we're playing X, Y, and Z or whatever," like I'd go and play it with my mates, of course. But if I had the choice, I'd rather sit down, play a story driven game, and you get invested in the characters, in the story, in just the atmosphere and stuff like that. And I mean, a game I like is Assassin's Creed, and the one that I'm playing
Love
at the
it.
minute was Assassin's Creed Unity, and I'm sure Rich, you know what
Yeah.
I mean. And that's set in Egypt, and obviously you're learning as you're playing as well, and like even
I completely agree with you there. One of my favourite games I've ever played, and I played this through to completion, was Assassin's Creed 2, where you're Ezio,
Oh,
and
brilliant
it's
game.
based in,
in
Florence.
in Italy, yeah.
And it's fun. I know obviously they're taking liberties with historical factuality, but you learn so much about artwork and architecture and history.
Yeah.
And it's I absolutely love that game. And I've played a few more. I completed the one that's set in London as well, which was really, really good. I forget where it is. You play as two twins.
Syndicate, yeah.
That was really good.
And
But again, you're absolutely right, Liam. It's the story. You're involved. You're invested in the
Yeah.
story, and that's what I love. Rich.
And to complete the set, I'm actually playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla currently.
Ah, right.
And it's brilliant.
Is it good?
All about Vikings.
Vikings.
Which is
That's
just
where
great.
the Stevensons come
Yeah.
from originally.
I meant Origins, not Unity. For anyone that's like in the comments now thinking,
Yeah,
"Oh, you meant
yeah, right.
Origins."
Oh, yeah, you're wrong.
Not
Remember
Unity.
to send that hate mail address to Liam, guys. He's racked up loads of it
No,
tonight.
but I just love the games that you can get invested in. Even games like Telltale games where you make decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's like a Walking Dead. one,
Walking
isn't
Dead, yeah, exactly. And like you get invested in the characters and you're like, oh, I don't want them to die. And you try and make good choices to try and what's best for character and stuff like that. And obviously it has a dark ending and then like it ends and you're like, holy shit. But it's amazing that games have that effect on you.
Yeah,
that have that.
It's a great game that I love, which
Yeah.
I don't know if you've played LA Noire. Was
Oh,
very
yeah,
much
yeah,
like
yeah, I
that.
played
That
that.
was
Cole Phelps.
amazing.
It was
for
good.
that.
I think an issue I have is there's one segment of gaming that's all but disappeared, which I believe was the best part of gaming in the 90s and into the early 2000s. And that was local co-op.
Split screen.
Local
Split screen, yeah.
co-op.
Love that.
So to set the scene, my friend Paul, he had a Mega Drive when we were maybe 11, 12 possibly. And I remember him borrowing the original FIFA Soccer. It came out in 93, I think.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And he borrowed it off a friend from school. And it was mind-blowing for us as 12, 13-year-old kids. Mind-blowing that we could have... And to our brains then, it looked like a real game of football.
Yeah.
But more than that, you could play against each other. You could have two players, and you'd be in the same room.
Yeah.
So you'd have 4, 5, 6 of your friends all in the same room, a little TV. And even though you were playing a video game, you were still socialising. And you were learning those social skills. You were learning how to build friendships properly because you were in the same room, bantering and trying to beat each other on FIFA, for example. I mean, I remember having punch-ups and all sorts over FIFA. I remember hitting my mate Gaz with a metal money box on his head because he kept throwing stuff at me while I was trying to play. And I turned around and I grabbed Fence money box and whacked him in. Gaz just never went down because he's bullied hard. And we ended up having a proper set, 2 proper punch-up till his mum broke us up. But you learn.
Yeah,
These are
yeah.
the things that you're learning when you're a little kid. You're learning how to what boundaries you can push. And well, kids now, They haven't got that. They're online with 10-year-old kids racially abusing each other.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And being homophobic towards each other. Little kids. And my son, he gets dead down about it, and he'll play a game, and he'll come downstairs, he'll be like, and not even aimed at him, but like if it's aimed at somebody else, and it upsets him.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, the great times I had. Gaz, my friend Gaz had a SNES, and he had Street Fighter 2.
Oh,
and
great game.
we would just the difference then was you'd only play video games when it was raining and you couldn't go out.
Yeah.
Right. So it to be thrashing it down with rain. And Gaz had like a spare living room where his SNES was, and we'd sit there and he'd always be blanker. So he'd sit he'd sit in the corner electrocuting everybody. And we'd be like, stop, you can't do that, stop cornering. And Gaz was always like, it's my SNES, do what I want. But you learn all those social skills from being in those environments as kids and as teenagers. And kids they don't have that anymore. It doesn't exist. And then the problem's been compounded by the fact that kids haven't been allowed to go anywhere for the last 18 months. So it's almost like all they've had to do is to be online.
Just like being nasty to each other.
Yeah,
online.
yeah. And I find that morally questionable at best. I really do. I think some of the times we had playing GoldenEye a little bit later on. So what was that, 97?
No one could be odd job.
So we were in a mid-teens by then, and that was 4 players. You could have 4 players on, and the battles that we used to have. But it wasn't about the video game. It was about that camaraderie and friendships of all being in the same room together, and that's what built friendships that have lasted for me to this day. Rich, me and you, when I first bought my house. There was, I think online multiplayer was just coming through then into consoles. I think it was already on PC.
Yeah,
and it was just coming through. And me and Rich, we'd play Halo, and we'd play that table tennis game. Remember, on the Xbox, but it was great because it was, like I say, it was building those friendships. And I don't believe kids have got that opportunity anymore.
No, definitely
I
not.
can't think of my son unless he's played with me. I can't think of my son playing a split screen local co-op game.
How often do you hear or see of news stories of people that were like in the same group chat or in the same team when they were playing Halo way back on Xbox, and they're best friends to this day?
Still best friends.
And
I've read articles about that,
stuff like that. And I think even the more casual games such as like your Wii Sports or your Mario Kart or something like that, it's like you say, Andy, it's about developing that camaraderie and that, like, taking a defeat and being like, good game, instead of being like, oh, you fucking dickhead, blah. I fucked your mum, whatever, and it's just like there's no need for it. Like, it's all about having fun. Bottom line of it is about having fun and enjoying yourself, and I think that's what it's all about. And like I say, you don't have to be an avid gamer, you don't have to go and get like the most expensive hardware or anything like that. It's all about having fun. Bottom line.
Absolutely. And I think video game developers should bring that back. I think they should maybe be held accountable for trying to bring that back, particularly into children's gaming. Because gaming's here to stay, whether you like it for your kids or not. It's here to stay. I'm not a big fan of kids being constantly on video games, but if there was more content and availability for kids to play split screen games and be in each other's company, genuinely, physically in each other's company, I think that would be some form of legislation that would be beneficial.
Yeah,
but
definitely work.
Money talks, doesn't it?
That's what all the
end
fun's
of the
about,
day?
though, isn't it? Like say.
It's nearly the end, lads. I'm going to come to you with my final question, Jerry's final thought. Steve-O's final thought.
Like that.
Carrying on from that topic, quite simply, I'm going to ask you both, what's the greatest video game ever made? I'm going to come to you first, Rich.
Since you sort of mentioned this to me, I've been racking my brains thinking, what would I pick?
It's tough to choose. It's tough to choose. It's almost like a desert island game.
If I had to choose one game that I could play again, it's Metal Gear Solid, the original PlayStation.
The first one.
Yeah, on PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Because the story was brilliant, the gameplay was brilliant, so much to do.
Yeah.
And it's just a perfect game. I mean,
it's unbelievable.
If you made it now on a console, and you think of how the graphics would be nowadays, it would just be
Even
insane.
have you played the remake on GameCube?
Yeah.
They call it the Twin Snakes. Yeah, the remake's fantastic. It's exactly the same, just better graphics. But I've got that at home. I have. So I would say that's probably my second favourite game of all time, Rich.
What's your favourite?
Well, I'm going to come to that shortly. Liam.
Yeah,
greatest game ever made.
I'm gonna say it because this is where it started it all for me, and I have fond memories of this game. Rayman for the PlayStation 1.
Rayman.
Good choice.
Because
Only played it briefly. Never got into it.
Because I'll never
Was he
forget.
the one that had
Floating arms
the
and
gloves and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah. And
floaty arms?
it was like 2D, extreme difficulty
It
level.
looked a bit
proper
like
platformer.
Earthworm
Yes.
Jim, didn't it,
Oh,
Rich?
what
a
Earthworm
game.
Jim.
And I always remember from a young age, like living in my parents' flat way back when, before my little brother were born and everything like that. And my dad would come home from work from like a 12, 16-hour shift or something like that, and he'd still make time to play PlayStation with me. And it's little things like that, little memories like that stick with you, even now at nearly 30 years old, that I remember that. And that's where it all started for me. And obviously since then, I've gone on to enjoy gaming, like you were touching on earlier, Steve. Like I do my own gaming podcast, YouTube channel, and stuff like that. And I just love it. And I love the escape from reality, like we were touching on before last season. And obviously, like if you're ever having a bad time, it's just nice to just turn PlayStation on and go and kill some zombies or whatever, you know.
That's it. So it's Rayman, the original Rayman.
The very
for
first
you then.
PlayStation 1 Rayman. There are a few, such as like your Spyro, your Crash Bandicoot, stuff like that, but just for sentimental value,
to make it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Good choice. I'm gonna see if Rich can guess my favourite game by the tune I'm gonna sing.
Oh.
Well, I'm just gonna la 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 it. So it's na 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 da 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 da.
I know it.
You know it.
I know it.
You know it.
Cogs
It's
are
there.
turning. The cogs are turning.
But it's not going to come to me quick enough, I don't think.
No.
It's Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh,
Sons of Liberty. My favourite game of all time.
With Rhine.
By far and away, the most anticipated get.
PlayStation
My
2.
second favourite game is Metal Gear Solid 1, which of course came out in 98, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Metal Gear Solid 2 came out in 2002, and we'd been waiting for it for ages. I was so excited.
From basically the PlayStation 2
Yeah,
launch to
from the launch.
it was the game that we liked.
for me, there's a story behind it as usual. So when it was being made, it was released in the US. You got to remember you had the PAL codes back then, so the region codes.
Yep.
So it was released in the US at the end of 2001. At the beginning of 2002, me and Razza, my best friend, we went to live in Turkey. Right, that's where we went to live.
Yeah.
So we got to, I think Metal Gear came out in the April, and we were in Turkey. There's no PlayStations in Turkey. This
No.
is back then. There's no PlayStations in Turkey then. So we had to wait until Raz's mum and stepdad came on holiday, and Razza conned her into buying a copy and bringing it to us because we'd taken Razza's PlayStation with us so we could play Pro Evo, right? Pro Evolution Soccer, right? So because when we first got there, it was still early February when we first got to Turkey and started living there. It was freezing, so at night you couldn't go on the beach or anything. There was nothing to do, so we had the PlayStation. I remember we finally got the copy. And me and Razza, we worked on a boatyard. We were building boats at the time. And we booked a week off work just so we could play Metal Gear Solid 2. Right? Proper dedication. And I remember for the first 3 days and nights, we didn't go to sleep. We played the game in shifts because it's a single-player game.
Yeah.
And we were playing. But the beauty of that game was it was just as awesome to be there watching Razza do this bit or do that bit. I remember getting stuck on bosses for like 12 hours. And of course, there's no internet you could look up.
Oh, no
you
guides
couldn't
or
cheat
like that
or
to go.
anything like that. It was
Buy a
like,
gamer guide.
you just got to sit there and fucking work it out,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Use your brain power and work it out instead of being cheating bastards.
I remember that.
Gamer guys, I remember that.
Fat man on it.
Fat man on his rollerblades.
Oh.
That was what we got stuck on that for a day and a
So
night. We
painful.
couldn't get past that at all. And I think for me, the fact that the game is so good, it's so good, the twists and the fact that you end up playing as a different character, which a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was great because it gave you a different perspective on the character of Snake, who's the main protagonist of the series. And I loved it. I loved the game. I loved everything about it. I thought it was amazing. But the fact that I've got that way that we played it when we lived there and we were at that time in our lives and we booked a week off work and we'd sort of made an occasion about it, playing it in shit. And to this day, I try and play Metal Gear Solid 2 once a year. It's like putting your favourite film on.
Yeah.
Because the story is, it's batshit crazy. Hideo Kojima, the maddest bloke in the world. It's batshit mental, the whole thing is. But it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It drags you in, and the story's fantastic. That's what I love about any kind of media, whether it be film, whether it be TV, whether it be games. That's what I love. And for me, Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty is the greatest game of all time.
Excellent choice. Good
And I
choice.
think that's
Excellent choice.
three good decisions there: Rayman, Metal Gear 1, and Metal Gear 2.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're gonna refresh people's minds on our Graham poll for this week,
Yeah.
which has been put to us by our regular listener, Liam Baines, who is coming on to the podcast in the very near future. And he wanted to continue the theme from last season of where we keep certain products. And obviously, we'd put to bed the fact that juice should be kept in the fridge.
And fart jokes are funny.
Fart jokes
Fart
are
jokes
funny.
are hilarious.
Yes. We'd put those to rest. So we just want to know, simply from our viewers and listeners, where do you keep your chocky? Where do you keep your chocky?
Yeah.
Is it in the fridge?
Was it in the cupboard?
Or is it in some weird place like under the floorboard? My missus has a special place, right?
What, for chocolate?
Yeah.
A hidey
What?
hole.
No, it's for hide it so me and my son don't eat
Where
it.
did she keep it?
Well, I don't know.
Oh,
That's
what?
exactly it.
I thought you were
I ain't got
about
a
to
clue.
tell us.
No, that's the mystery.
Ah,
But
right.
that's
If
it.
I knew, I'd be able to fucking eat it, wouldn't I, you tool? She'd be able to keep it in the fridge or the cupboard then. But yeah, she's got a secret stashing place that I've looked like looking for Christmas presents. I have fucking clue where she keeps it. But let us know, guys. Liam will tell you where you can get in touch.
Yeah,
just
you
before
can
we
find
finish.
us on all our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, Anger Management Studios. You can find us on Twitter, Anger Manage Pod. And yeah, thank you to everyone that's got in touch and for the fantastic music that's been on the show today. And I think I speak on behalf of everyone. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. And I'd like to say thanks to Rich.
Yeah, cheers,
Rich the Rollercoaster Sumnall.
Thanks for having me.
For being here for episode 1 of season 2. Hopefully, Rich might be doing a little bit of hosting with us when we've got other guests on as well, which will be pretty cool. We'll be back next week with another special guest. I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it should be awesome. So you've been listening to the Anger Management Podcast with me, Andy Stevenson.
Me, Liam Simcox.
And me, Rich Sumnall.
And we'll catch you on the flip-flop. See you later. Bye.
See you later, guys.